But we also are going to give players tickets away, so I want to make sure I wrote that down. But look at my next one right there. What does it say?
Deliver teases.
Deliver on teases.
Yep.
Hey, listen, man, I'm just getting better. Just trying to get better.
We all are, Brent. We all are, man.
How you doing? A little rainy today in Jacksonville.
It's a little rainy. I'm not going to lie, though. I'm not mad at it. Obviously, the rain kind of sucks. But as far as the temperatures are concerned, I'm all for, 60 degrees, man. I have no problem with that whatsoever. So I'd rather have it be a little too cold than a little too hot. So as far as the weather is concerned, I'm enjoying it.
Hey, we got more Jags news, by the way, today. Dom Capers, which we told you about. Somebody had asked us about last week.
Yeah, we kind of broke it down a little bit.
There were some rumors coming out of, I think it was a guy in Ohio that had it, that Capers might be coming here. And he's right. A week later, senior defensive assistant. My question to you is, what the heck does a senior defensive assistant do? Other than, do you have to be called senior if you're over 65? Because Dom's 68.
That's a good point. I think it's that if you have your AARP card, you qualify. But listen, I mean, as far as the senior assistant, I literally have no idea. I mean, obviously, when I played, we didn't have one of those. So my best guess would be he's just being brought in, as another pair of eyes for that defense. He might help in game planning. He might help, breaking film down and whatnot. But as far as being in the locker room and being in the meeting and stuff like that, you might see him a little bit, but I don't see him taking over the defense, obviously.
Todd Wash, defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And it's interesting here, right? Because the Jags defense top 5 last couple of years, and they still were good last year on a lot of different levels. Not nearly the expectations that everybody had. Not really good in the big play category from sacks to turnovers, but their scoring defense, their yardage, all that stuff they were a good defense. So he walks into a good situation, and so I'm kind of wondering, okay, what's he going to tweak? What's he going to do? Todd Wash, who some people are critical of because he doesn't play enough press, is Dom Capers going to say, hey, you should play press more? Well, couldn't anybody do that? Couldn't Doug Marrone do that? I don't. Is Todd Wash is on the younger side of things, I guess. I would put him on the younger side of coaching, but he's not a young coach. And
but Capers has only 30 years. I think he has over 30 years of experience. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so you balance that out a little bit. Here's my big question, though. And I think we're going to ask this and we're going to discuss it, and I'd like to get everybody's thoughts on it, what you think. Not to say, Dom Capers to me, it's a reminder of the past because he was here under Coughlin. And in 1999, Jags had a really good defense, and he was the engineer of it. He's been around some good defenses. He was out of coaching last year. I think the Packers are probably mixed on him, Packer fans, because he was just okay there, or at least their defense was just okay there recently. So whatever your thoughts are on Capers, this isn't really about him. It's more about, I just said to you before the start of the show, we talk a lot, and I think football people talk a lot, how these players this day and age are hard to relate to for coaches. Harder, maybe the hardest it's ever been in terms of getting to them. Their star status is bigger than it's ever been. They've got a voice on social media and all these other things. They don't just say, okay, sir, okay, we'll do this, we'll do. They seem to have an opinion. Antonio Brown's the perfect example of this right now. And there's a lot of strong personalities in that Jags locker room. But what we've seen is an NFL that goes to Sean McVay, Cliff Kingsbury, these younger coaches, and I think in a hope to, not only because they're offensive minds, but to hope to relate to these players, maybe even more so than with all due respect, the older coaches. And it feels like it's interesting in Jacksonville because you have old school mindsets. Dom Capers comes in, Doug Marrone's an old school guy, Tom Coughlin, obviously an old school guy. My question is, are the Jags going the wrong way in this?
So a big thing with Dom Capers, too, and obviously being from Wisconsin, I have a lot of friends who are Packer fans, so I hear about it all the time when he used to coach there. With Capers, he's considered more of a secondary coach than he would be like a defensive line coach. He's more versed in secondary.
Yeah, that's his concentration.
That's his concentration. And,
he's been around it all now.
No, he has, for sure. But the Green Bay Packers, they had 2 great players, and obviously Casey Hayward, who you've heard of with the Chargers now. I mean, he was drafted by the Green Bay Packers out of Vanderbilt. We had the same agent, so I've talked to Casey a couple times, and he just didn't really fit in with Green Bay and Capers. Then obviously another guy too is Micah Hyde, who's playing for the Bills right now. Actually graded out as at an 80 on ProFootballFocus.com. Take it for what you want to take with ProFootballFocus.com, but an 80 is a pretty solid player. So those are two guys that were in Green Bay under that Capers system that just didn't really fit in well. And obviously, too, the thing with Capers is the fact that Clay Matthews, there was always a debate where, listen, you have the most you have the sack leader in franchise history, Clay Matthews, playing middle linebacker. That kind of rubbed a lot of people the wrong way as well. So when it comes to Capers, there is some good, there is some bad. From a scheming standpoint, which I think he'll do, keep in mind, too, he did have some problems against San Francisco when they ran the option. I think it was in the divisional playoffs against San Francisco. Colin Kaepernick had 181 yards out of that option, and Green Bay wasn't ready for it. So from a from a scouting perspective, from a film perspective, schematic, it's not good.
Yeah. But, so if you're in 30 years, you're gonna have ups and downs and mixed reviews. And again, this guy, my point, I tweeted today right after. I was like, listen, we'll talk about Dom Capers' impact in December on this team if the players play better. Mm-hmm. This team didn't do well last year or as good because the players didn't play as well. It's as simple as that. We spend way too much talking about coaching and not enough time blaming players for not either being in the right mindset, not being healthy enough, or just not doing their jobs. And it's almost to a point where it's like, okay, I get it. Coaching matters. This is important. But we go like 90% on coaches and other people rather than the players, I think. I feel like in the world of judging football, fans and everybody. So it's the easy scapegoat is always coaches. And so, like I said, I'm not sure where his impact's going to lie. But if they do well, he'll get some credit. He came in and helped out, and they maybe their numbers show they pressed 3% more than they did in 2018. I have no idea. We'll find that out.
Well, we also have to set the record straight now, too. I don't think he's trying to come in here and take over as DC, because if you want to do that, you can went to Cincinnati right now and probably been the DC there, because I think they're still looking for one. Yeah. So I don't think he's really coming here to try to shake things up and
maybe
football
get a job last year. He wants to hang around. Yeah, I mean that's what he wants to do, and he thinks he can help. I'm not saying it can't help, but my question is: are the Jags going the opposite direction in terms of not enough young blood in Jacksonville? Is that a fair question? Is that fair right now to relate to players today? The rest of the league looks like they're going younger. Don't give me Bill Belichick in this conversation. The Patriots don't qualify in any conversation.
I would pay money to see Dom Capers and Jalen Ramsey have their own reality TV show. Just wanted to put that out there right now.
Also, transition, the franchise tag, transition tag, all the tag stuff. Tag, you're it. What about Nick Foles? Are we about to learn more about the Jags and Nick Foles relationship over the next couple of weeks? I say yes. That's next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Hi, this is Earl Ron, president of New South Window. New South makes windows that are energy efficient and hurricane resistant. You get both. If you have aluminum windows, it's time to get rid of yesterday's technology. New South is the factory and eliminates the middleman. Don't even think of buying windows until you see what our factory can do for you. New South windows are made in Florida, for Florida homes, by Florida workers, because we know Florida weather.
Going on now. For every 2 windows you buy, get the third free. Visit newsouthwindow.com.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau from ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jax, and we know who the football team of the year is. Yep, the Patriots again. What you may not know is my friends at the brand new Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville have the North American Utility Vehicle of the Year. They raise that trophy. It's the new 2019 Hyundai Kona, and this is a super slick crossover utility vehicle. I encourage you to swing by the Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville showroom on Atlantic Boulevard and take a look at this new crossover utility vehicle. The Kona is offered in 4 trim levels: the SE, the SEL, the Limited, and the Ultimate. Go see my friends at the new Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville and schedule a test drive and order the new Konas today. And remember, Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville is the home of the 7-day money-back guarantee and offers the limited lifetime warranty. That's good anywhere in the United States. Visit the showroom and visit them online at JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com.
Now you have a bunch of young guys who found out we were all on the trade block. Now that trade didn't go through, so I agree with Magic, and you got to put on your big boy pants, but we all don't know how everybody's going to deal with it.
Go Lick and Wingo, weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. on ESPN 690.
Now, back to Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Check this one off the box. Reminder to self. Share the fact that everybody listening in Jacksonville right now at ESPN 690 can win some Players' Championship tickets. How's that? You can. To the Captain's Club at the Players' Championship. All you have to do is go to the new ESPN690.com and you can win. Simple as that. Check it out. We got a new website up, ESPN690.com, and you can see it. And you can win it to the Players' Championship, which is now 21 days away. Brent Martin along with Austin Lane. Coos. All right, Coos.
What up?
Riddle me this. I was at Daytona the other day, and I saw a guy wearing Wawa shorts.
Yes.
And now I look across the way, and I see you, and you are in a Wawa sweatshirt.
I was going to be honest. Is that from the store?
Yeah.
Did I miss like a free giveaway here or what?
I was at one point sponsored by Wawa for the other station that I worked for. So
at like WAP?
Yeah.
You're allowed to say what station it is. You can plug it.
At WAP,
it's ours. We own it.
Yeah. I was sponsored for like 2 weeks when they first opened the one right down the street here.
Yeah.
And so I got this. I had a shirt. I got like 2 or 3 coffee cups. I had 2 little stuffed animal smoothie dudes that say Wawa on them. So, but here's the thing: Wawa's from Philly. Like when they sent out an email like, "Hey, they're interested in a sponsor," I was like, I will fight everyone for this. Like,
Speaking
do not
of
take this from
fighting
me.
and sponsorships, I saw Kuz had some ESPN 690 swag.
We're going to get to that.
Okay.
But I got to stay on Wawa for a second because you said 2 weeks. Did they dump you that quickly? I mean,
it was just a 2 week thing.
Are you sure?
A 2 week thing.
Did you not wear the sweatshirt?
Standard.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was a 2 week thing, like the grand opening, and then
we want Wawa back.
That's what I'm saying.
It's right
man.
down the road.
Here's
Delicious
the thing:
subs too.
When we moved here, because we used to be down
South
the
Point,
street
yeah.
a little bit more. When we moved here, and I saw Wawa's down the street, I was like, this is gonna be a problem.
I've got to be honest with you. I had never gone to a Wawa. Actually, I'm lying to you. I think they had one in Orlando, so I think I had gone one time.
Yeah, they do.
And now they have this one right down the road, and you're right. I'm a big coffee guy.
Yeah.
Like the coffee note was like $1 during the holidays, which was awesome. And
Hoagie Fest too.
It's good. It really is good.
We
So
need to take a field trip to that. Was it Busy Bee that you're talking about?
Yes.
I mean,
Where's that one?
Because
That's in Live Oak.
I'm just saying the way you talked at Busy Bee, it's like the Six Flags of gas stations.
No, it is. It's a real deal.
Here,
You'll be excited.
The
Have
Philly
you been
in me
there,
is
Coos?
mad you just called Wawa a gas station.
Say what?
The Philly in me is mad that you made the connection that Wawa is a gas station, because
Well,
Wawa started
I
as
mean-
not a gas station. They just realized they could
Okay.
add
What would you call Wawa? Like a convenience store?
a convenience store, a deli. It's like a 7-Eleven before the 7-Eleven had gas stations. Like that's
I'm just saying, if you call it a convenience store, would that not hurt their feelings?
I think convenience
as
store
much
fine.
as the
You
gas
could-
station?
It was more like you went there to get sandwiches.
Watch me go
like
to
a deli.
Philly and call it a gas station as soon as I step foot in that city.
Oh,
Yeah.
they'll be so upset with you.
And Rocky
Tell them
will
to bring it
punch you.
on. I'm not
There's
worried
still
about
some, like back home where I live, there's still some that don't have gas stations. They're just, a convenience store.
Convenience store. All right. And they have good shakes, too, apparently.
Yeah, they do.
See that? I'm back on Wawa. We got to work on
it.
that.
It's a great gas station.
But I'm seriously, I saw a guy in Daytona with shorts on that said Wawa, and now I see in 2 days I've seen
Wawa
clothing
merch.
apparel on Wawa. It's odd to me.
I mean, I'm not mad at the logo. Are those seagulls on there? What is that?
It's a Wawa.
No, but like the birds. Isn't there like a bird?
The bird is a Wawa.
Oh, I had no idea.
Come on.
Oh, is that the name of a bird?
I think it's a kind of like a goose. I've
Are
never
those
actually.
big in Philly?
Yeah, I don't know.
Seriously.
I mean, there are a lot of geese in Philly and Philadelphia in general, so possibly.
Interesting.
All right. That's I'm learning something new. I did not know that was an actual like bird or goose or
Yeah,
whatever.
it looks like a goose. Like
All right.
I'd call it a goose.
Are you looking that up?
I'm looking it up right now.
Thank you. All right, let's get back to some football talk. Nick Foles is going to be a free man or tagged by the Philadelphia Eagles.
Doesn't really matter, does it?
Oh, yeah, it does.
Why does it matter?
Oh, I think it's a huge difference. Now, Nick Foles might not care because he's going to get paid either way.
That's where I was coming from.
Oh,
but
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, here's what I think. I think if the Eagles tag Foles, the Jags aren't interested.
Really?
I don't think they're interested in giving up a pick for him and then paying the 20 whatever. Now, you can restructure all that stuff. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
But now, and how am I going to hedge that a little? if you're talking about what people are talking about is like a third-round pick. I don't believe the Jaguars are giving up a third-round pick for Nick Foles and then going to pay him $25 million. I don't think it happens. So that's why I think the next 2 weeks are critical. If he gets tagged, I think, in my opinion, the Jags' chances of getting Nick Foles increasingly drop, like big-time drop, if they tag him.
Because you don't see them giving up a third-round pick.
Because then you have to trade to get him. And I think if the cost is going to be a third-round pick, they have two of them.
Yeah.
But I don't think the Jags are giving up a third-round pick for Nick Foles and then paying him, which they would feel is overpaying him for the price they're going to have to pay anyway.
Well, let's be honest, though. He's going to get paid regardless. So let's throw the pay thing out. But you're saying the third-round pick is going to be the decider?
Yeah, I do.
Brent, did they spend a fifth-round pick on Carlos Hyde, and how'd that turn out?
Yeah. Not good. But there was a plan in place for it to work better. He was just he seemingly is
they're just throwing out
jackass and
fifth-round picks like it was nothing. So, I mean, as far as a third-round pick, if that's what it takes to get him, I see the Jaguars doing it.
I don't see the Jags doing it.
I guess we disagree on this one.
We do.
Yeah.
Hot take. I think it's going to be. I think it's a roadblock.
Well, if I'm the Eagles, it's kind of a big risk to do that tag because the market right now, and we talked about it how many times, where there's not a lot of teams in need of a Nick Foles right now, or that they're going to spend on him. So if you're the Eagles, you're really taking that risk with that tag.
Well, they're taking a huge risk. After $25 million, they're going to pay the guy if nobody bids on him. And again, you can make the case for Miami, Washington, the New York Giants, the Jags to all not touch Nick Foles, even if he was a free man. That wouldn't make as much sense. But I'm saying from a bidding standpoint, this goes two different ways. I argued when Denver, again, got Flacco that you took one guy off the table that was a big name. So I thought Foles' price may have gone up. Some people disagree with me totally on that. And it just depends where you fall. It all depends on how many teams are calling. I mean, who's knocking on the door? And my guess is the Ravens tried to get more teams involved for Flacco. But his price tag's about $7 million cheaper in 2019. And Denver said, you know what? We'll take that option and we'll give up an extra, I think they said an extra fourth-round pick that they had. Where if, say, that same deal was floated to the Jags, I don't think the Jags were giving up a fourth-round pick for him. I think they might have said, we'll give you up a seventh, but that's it, just to get the $18 million. I think it's going to be the same way. I think if they get in a bidding war, the Dolphins or the Redskins or the Giants would have to give up a pick and then get Foles. And so I could see that being a very risky move for Philadelphia. We all agree it's a risky move for Philadelphia because if you get stuck with a $25 million backup quarterback. And the conversation, by the way, doesn't end in Philly either because there's always been this conversation. Well, he won a Super Bowl. Then he got hot this year. What about Carson Wentz? That's not a great situation for Wentz and the Eagles to be in and Doug Peterson to be in. So they just don't want to put themselves in that position. So what's happening right now? Well, they're probably illegally tampering with teams and saying, and saying, hey, any interest? That's what happens next week at the Combine, right? Any interest? And they have 2 weeks to make their mind up by March 5th. But I would say this ends with no tag for Nick Foles.
Agreed. And I don't see them, even if it was a third-round pick, trying to make a deal with the Giants or Redskins. I think the Giants are off the table. I think if the Giants go in a quarterback direction, it'll be in the draft with Haskins, obviously. That's what I think, if they even do go for a quarterback. But with the Redskins, obviously the Redskins are intriguing because they don't really have a quarterback right now. Alex Smith isn't coming back. And you know, we talked to a few people, and they said it's not a big deal if the Eagles were to trade. They've done it before with Donovan McNabb and whatnot. I disagree, though.
Yeah.
I feel
they don't want to do that.
No, they don't want to do that because, say, Foles goes to Washington and he starts balling out. Well, then that makes the Eagles look bad because you kept Carson Wentz and Foles is playing better, you know, in the same division. So I don't see the Eagles trying to deal within the division, which is going to. So then if you take the Giants and Redskins out of it, well, then you got like two more teams. So I think they're going to – I don't see them tagging Foles. I really don't.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. They have, again, 2 weeks. Today's a day where you can start tagging people, and you get 2 weeks to do it, and we'll see where it ends up. But I do think in these 2 weeks we'll have a better understanding of where the Jags sit. And, again, if you want Nick Foles to Jacksonville – I think you're rooting for him not to get tagged. That's my opinion. Now, you didn't necessarily agree with that, and that's fair. But I don't think the Jags are trading away a pick to get Nick Foles. I think there's always a threshold, people. I mean, look, Bryce Harper and Manny Machado have had a hard time getting signed. Right? Well, there's a threshold that you're only so willing to go. And the Jags have a number on this, and they say, listen, we'll pay him $20 million, but we might not pay him $23 million, and we sure as hell don't want to give up a pick included in $23 million or $22 million or $20 million. So wherever they sit on that, I think there's a big impact on getting Nick Foles or not in the next couple of weeks as we see this countdown to whether they tag him or not.
So then say the Jaguars don't want to give up that third-round pick. And I've heard like a second-round pick as well, which I think is ludicrous. But, that's been out there in the airwaves as well. So say the Jaguars say, no, we're all good with Nick Foles. Somebody else can have him. Well, then what are we going to do here? I mean, are we going to try to we got to almost get Haskins then, correct?
Well, then you go to, that's a question I want to ask everybody too out there. I was thinking of this coming in. We all tend to agree. I'm blanket statement here, but we all tend to agree that if the Jags get Nick Foles, then you don't have to go young quarterback. In fact, most people would say no young quarterback at number 7 because that's the quarterback of at least your immediate future. Mm-hmm. You can hold off until 2020 where there's a deeper draft. You can hold off till hopefully 2026 because Nick Foles does well. Right? We're all in agreement
there. So if you get Foles, maybe get like a quarterback in the 3rd or 4th round if someone's there.
Sure.
But exactly.
Sure. Start grooming a guy. Yeah. That's fine. Mm-hmm. Maybe with that 2nd, 3rd pick, right? That 3rd round pick. But what we also all agree on, at least I feel like we do, but I think I might be wrong on, is there another veteran quarterback on the market that you would say, we're good at number 7 with the QB? See, my whole thing is they're going after Teddy. I think they end up with a Teddy Bridgewater, is what I've said.
Yeah.
And they still get Haskins because it's a total bridge move.
It is.
Meaning you spent $10, $12 million on Teddy Bridgewater for a couple of years, and you could probably get out from underneath it after 1 year. And if he plays well and does better than the rookie that you bring in, fine. You have him. If he doesn't, well, then you have the rookie, and you hand the reins to the rookie. But is there any quarterback on the free agent market that you would feel comfortable with saying, again, with the exception of Foles, that you would feel comfortable saying, we're good. We don't need QB in the 1st round?
Besides Foles, that's it. There's nobody else. Teddy, there's too many question marks. And I get some people's theory, well, it's kind of like Jimmy Garoppolo, you know? I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo had that one good season, and then he got traded to San Francisco. Teddy's been out a couple years, and we haven't seen a lot of film on him the last couple years. We don't know what he's capable of. I mean, even the Pro Bowl year that he had in Minnesota, it wasn't like his numbers were really that staggering. And I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it was...
His accuracy was good, and he wasn't asked to do a ton.
Yeah.
But he did what he was asked to do pretty well.
But...
What about Tannehill?
No, I don't think so.
You're moving on, and you get the young guy, too.
Hey, and let's be honest. I mean, ideally, what could happen, too, is you go after the young guy in the 1st round, have him be the starter, and bring in someone like Ryan Fitzpatrick and just be a backup.
And for cheaper.
Yeah, for a lot cheaper. Because, hey, the thing with Fitzpatrick is he's been known to have some pretty good games as a backup, so... I don't know.
Jax Dan just chimes in. I'm going to share it with you. He has a complete opposite take. Isn't that the beauty of this thing with Foles? I think that's the magic of this offseason, this next month right now for the Jags. I think there's several ways to look at this thing, and we all may vary in opinions. At least we do on a couple of fronts. That's next on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
I'm Aaron, and I am not the proud owner of the largest contract in sports history. As of today, that distinction belongs to one Manny Machado.
He is heading to the San Diego Padres a year after getting Eric Hosmer for $140 million. Strike first in this market. They get the 26-year-old Machado, a Gold Glove third baseman, a great shortstop, and add him to a nucleus that includes perhaps the best farm system in baseball.
So not only are the San Diego Padres stacked, but they grabbed the 26-year-old Machado for 10 years at $300 million, and he earned all of it. The 4-time All-Star hit .297 last year, 37 homers, 107 RBIs. It also looks like the end of a 2-year spending spree for the Padres, where the club's doled out $474 million over the last 2 seasons. Meanwhile, over in Pittsburgh, Steelers wideout Antonio Brown has reportedly met with team owner Art Rooney. Both men now saying parting ways makes the most sense. And finally, Tony Romo will play in his second PGA Tour event. He's accepted a sponsor's exemption to the AT&T Byron Nelson. Stream our radio station when you're not by a radio. Just go to ESPN690.com and hit the Listen Live button.
Hi, everyone. This is Allie McNeil from the Best Bet Poker Rooms in Jacksonville and Orange Park. WPT Deep Stacks returns to Jacksonville March 1st. The series features 12 total events with the main event guaranteeing over $300,000. Satellite into the $1,500 main event for as little as $85. Pick up all the bragging rights and cash. Plus, make your claim to fame in this year's WPT Deep Stack Series. Satellites run now through March 9th. For all tournament information, visit them on the web at bestbetjacks.com.
There are those who play the blues. Then there's Chicago's electric blues legend, the one and only Buddy Guy.
And it goes down.
Saturday, March 23rd at the Florida Theater.
Well, you know it's 9 below zero.
Tickets are on sale now at the box office and at floridatheater.com. Don't miss Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee Buddy Guy.
Hi, it's Nathan from Gordon Chevy in Orange Park, where our no bull pricing and express sales process will have you out the door in a new Chevy fast. No bull means fast, fair, and transparent. It's what you can always expect at Gordon Chevy. And somehow, I fat-fingered the order for 2019 Colorados and ended up with over 100 in stock. So right now, you can get up to $4,000 off. That's the truck everybody's talking about, the Chevy Colorado. Only at the money-saving end of Blanding Boulevard and online at GordonChevy.com. Chevy, find new roads.
From Daytona Beach to Brunswick, now ESPN can be heard loud and clear everywhere on one of the most powerful AM radio stations in Florida. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. This is ESPN 690.
You watch Action Sports Jax on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
Now Action Sports Jax is on your radio. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Here's your host, Brent Martineau.
Look at magic whiteboard. What does it say? Hey, Louisiana.
Show Alistair Black a little respect. So, Raw was in Louisiana last night. More specifically, it was in, I think, Shreveport? Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was in Lafayette, Louisiana.
Not my old stomping grounds of Alexandria, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And it wasn't in Alexandria, but the crowd was horrible. I'm not sure if they're still into the whole Saints thing where they got screwed over.
Oh, the crowd was bad?
Oh, the crowd was horrible, yeah. So actually, they debuted about like 3 or 4 new wrestlers last night, and one of them was Alistair Black, who I'm a big fan of, and nobody gave a damn.
Really?
So it was frustrating to watch.
I saw the TV ratings on Raw last night. I'm interested now, so I started looking. And I was like, it was okay, like for along the cable platforms.
Rousey almost broke her neck last night trying to dive off the turnbuckle. She botched it really bad, and it was almost game over.
Really?
Yeah. Thank God she recovered at the last second, but it was gnarly.
That would have been nasty.
Yeah, not good.
And bad.
Yep.
That's an art now.
It is an art.
All right. A couple of news and notes, too, to tell you about if you didn't know. Florida State was supposed to be in town playing baseball against Jacksonville University tonight. They canceled that game instead of having the Noles come over with the inclement weather. Love the word inclement. Did you always love the word inclement? When the principal would come on the loudspeaker,
yeah,
and like I hated it really because it was usually canceling baseball practice.
Yep.
But he'd say all school activities are postponed due to inclement weather.
Good point.
They always use the word inclement.
I never thought about that until now, but yeah, I think our principal did the same thing, and usually if I was playing football or I played a season of baseball, I would be pretty ticked off as well because it means you can't go have fun.
Well, up there, it happened quite a bit around this time of year.
But they're canceling the game because this rain.
Well, no, but what I was saying is it's a smart move on their part because it's forecasted. And they got to drive over from Tallahassee. It's a 3-hour drive.
Okay.
To get rained out is silly if the forecast looks better tomorrow. They had an open date tomorrow, so they're
okay.
pushing
See, I didn't know
tomorrow.
that. Push a bunch of games. Okay, I got you. We're all good then.
I mean, it's a tricky part this time of year about baseball and softball and the outside sports because of the weather and the travel. A lot of midweek games for the baseball teams, they'll go to UCF or USF or Tallahassee, Gainesville. They're not long drives, but they're also not just down the road.
Well, what are they doing up north right now? Because there's snow everywhere. So how do those colleges handle stuff?
They're all down here.
Okay.
Most of the teams take a spring trip. Like we used to take a spring trip to Fort Myers. Every year for a week or 10 days. And now a lot of teams will go to Texas or even Arizona. So it kind of depends on which part of the country you are in. But in Florida, there's still a lot of people.
College baseball season already. It's crazy.
Yeah, Good start over the weekend for UNF and for Florida and Florida State. JU struggled 0-3. We had Coach Chris Hayes on Indiana State come in and swept them. So they obviously didn't play well or up to their standard over the weekend. But anyway, that game moved to tomorrow at 6 o'clock. So think about this at JU. Florida softball is going to be at JU tomorrow, which Florida's best program or one of in the country. Florida State baseball will be at JU. And a River City Rumble tomorrow, JU and UNF.
Yeah.
So you got a lot going on campus at Jacksonville University tomorrow.
Are you calling that game tomorrow or not?
No, I don't call the one on the road.
Okay.
Only if it's at UNF.
Gotcha.
But I do plan to be there. So
cool.
Anyway, busy day at JU. All right, we left in the last segment. By the way, I think in my esophagus or lungs or wherever is all this pollen that's being washed away.
Yeah.
I can hardly breathe.
Well, I'm sure your body is trying to fight the fact that it hasn't had caffeine like it's used to having, unless you did have like 10 coffees today.
Nope.
You haven't told me. Yeah.
I'm still 2.
2? That's good.
And yesterday I ended up having one later, so I was a 3 coffee day yesterday.
3 coffee day. Okay.
And so I'm on pace to do about the same.
Yeah.
Got a little yoga in today too, just to let you know.
Okay.
There you go. I'm 2 for 2 on the new thing. All right. So Dan says he actually thinks it's the opposite. He thinks if they tag Foles, that means they know they have a trade partner. And so they wouldn't tag him irresponsibly, but they know. And I understand that part of it, Jax Dan says. I get it. I do agree with that. I think if they do tag him, they're not going to tag him with knowing nobody. But here's the deal with trade partners. That can always fall through, number one. So it's still a risk. Mm-hmm. But I get what you're saying. That means there's enough interest to say, hey, we'll trade a 6th or a 7th or a 4th or a 3rd. And there's enough out there to at least say, and then you can maybe control and get more and play the 2 against each other. Understand the team then owns the control. So I get it. I don't think that's a crazy thought. Mm-hmm. They don't want to trade to Washington or New York, says Dan. And so it would be down to Jacksonville and Miami, given if it's those 4 teams. And again, I think we're all assuming those are the only 4 teams that might be interested in Foles. Mm-hmm. Heck, there might not be 4 teams interested in Foles. I mean, the Jacksonville Jaguars are the only team that slam dunk makes complete sense for Nick Foles. Miami has said, hey, we might get a young guy and start rebuilding, right? They said we might not want to pay a guy 20-something million this year. Washington, a lot of money on the books. How do they see this thing shaking out? Do they go young instead of getting another veteran quarterback in? And the Giants have Eli Manning. I mean, are they going to draft young Haskins, keep Eli, instead of go pay Foles and go that route and cut Eli and all those things? So really, Jacksonville still, that's why Jacksonville, I don't know what the odds are in Vegas, but that's why the Jags are the favorites to get Foles, because there's nothing like that blocking them.
Yeah,
they want to win now, and they need a quarterback. And the smartest move might be to get Foles rather than take a chance at a young quarterback. So you add all those things up, and Foles makes sense.
And looking into it, too, and by the way, that guy on Twitter kind of made a pretty good point that they're probably in talks with some teams right now, but they can also, there's 3 different types of tags that they can use. They can use the exclusive tag, they can use the non-exclusive tag, and they can use the transition tag.
Yeah.
And now what does that basically mean?
The non-exclusive is the one they'll use.
Yeah, exactly. Because the exclusive one, it says that Foles can talk to other teams and whatnot and kind of make his own, say where he wants to go. So it'll probably be the non-exclusive tag for sure.
Yeah, and that way the team has some control. And then there's also stuff that I read somewhere today that it's actually illegal, but they do it anyway, but it's illegal to franchise guy and trade him.
Huh.
Like I don't know if that was correct.
Yeah.
But no, they said it's happened before, and the league really doesn't. It doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah.
So the league doesn't really say much or do much about it if
kind
it
of
goes
put it underneath the rug.
I don't know how true this was, but I was like, that's how confusing some of this stuff gets.
Yeah.
And maybe that's true, and maybe this is just a bluff by Philly, and in terms of the tag stuff, we will see. It's a good bluff by Philly to see if people start calling you and inquire and say, hey, if you do that, we want to trade. It's a good bluff. It doesn't hurt Philly to bluff. They have 2 weeks to figure it out.
But that's the thing with bluffing, though. I mean, if they do tag them, they don't get a lot of interest. They might be kind of screwed. So
yeah, they could be.
There's a problem with bluffing sometimes.
How about the next thing? Antonio Brown, my guy.
Your guy.
My guy's off the rails.
He's off the rails. I mean, this has to affect how you feel about Antonio Brown right now coming to the Jaguars.
I said it a little bit yesterday, right? I said, I was like, oh, gosh, you're starting to make me hedge a little bit, AB. I mean, I'll wait. Now I can't call him the AB. I got to call him something. The chest man? The what? What is it? The best chest? Or
let me, let me go and look that up quick, and I'll get back to you.
This guy's out of his mind right now.
Yeah.
He did recently tweet, if you missed it, that he met with the Rooneys, and this is a divorce happening. Both sides agree. He said it was a good meeting, but now he's definitely going somewhere else. And listen, if I'm using a pick, I still think he said on the treadmill yesterday on his Instagram post that he doesn't want to go to a team that doesn't have good camaraderie, is not very good, and blah, 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 blah. And you kind of like, oh, well, he doesn't want to come. You know, what does he view as good camaraderie, problems in the locker room? Jags are just coming off a 5-11, aren't good, aren't ready to win. 5-11, had problems in the locker room. Doesn't seem like Antonio Brown would want to come here based on what he said. But Antonio Brown's saying so much stuff right now. It's like somebody reel this dude in.
Yeah, like, hey, we get it. You're not going to be on the Steelers next year. You've said enough. Like, just chill out a little bit, man. And by the way, he wants to be known as Mr. Big Chest, which I will not be calling you. Sorry.
Oh, it's Mr. Big Chest.
It's Mr. Big Chest.
If you would call me that, I'd appreciate it.
I'm not going to call you that either, Brent. I mean, I feel like you have to earn that title. And you and Antonio don't really have the biggest of chests, I feel like. So, no, I'm not going to call you
Metcalf.
Mr. Big Chest. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Metcalf definitely gets that.
Now we get into this part of it. And later in the show, we're going to say, because now there's all this Odell Beckham Jr. stuff. And he's another one. Who would you rather have, Odell Beckham Jr. or Antonio Brown, if you were going to make a play for a guy and go all in on someone? I think all the Odell Beckham Jr. stuff is real speculation. I think he's on the Giants. I mean, they just signed him, and I'd be surprised. Like, the AB stuff is real. I mean, he's going to be somewhere else. The Beckham stuff is, who knows? But later in the show, we'll say, who would you rather have if you could make a play and it was somewhat equal?
For me, it's obvious.
Would you make a play for Brown or Odell Beckham Jr.? We'll see. Hey, we got some more players' tickets to give away. Get on the line, 362-9901. If you wish, ESPN690.com as well. We're going to have a lot more football talk on the way. A little driving and dishing next. Kuz is going to chime in on ESPN 690.
Built with the biggest names in sports, all on one radio station. Golick and Wingo, Dan Lebitard, Stephen A. Smith, and Action Sports Jack's Brent Martineau every afternoon. Plus, Sports Center updates at the top and bottom of every hour. And major breaking news in sports when it happens. Make us your only button for sports. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. The all-new ESPN 690.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau. If you've received a letter from the IRS and can't pay them, things can get bad quickly. The IRS can seize your bank account, garnish your wages, and place liens against everything you own. If this is you, contact J. David Tax Law, a local firm right here in Jacksonville. Your first step to stop IRS harassment is a no-cost consultation. They explain exactly your options and how they will resolve your tax issue. Only highly experienced tax attorneys will represent you, and fee payment plans are affordable for everyone. Get the protection you deserve. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away. The fastest way to get started is to call 904-507-4777. 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com. The number again, 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com. Blake Bortles needs a change of scenery. People need a change of scenery from Blake Bortles. That's not the case in Denver. You can like Case Keenum or not, but it wasn't like, hey, this guy's got to get out of town.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Now, back to Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau
on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Hey, a lot more football talk to come. Kai Forbath, by the way, Jaguars kicker who was backing up an injured Josh Lambo at the end of 2018 has been released. No surprise there. Lambo just signed a 4-year deal, 4-year extension worth over $15 million. But Jags make that move. They also announced their season ticket renewal campaign today. And 25th anniversary of the Jags, that will be a big deal. 2.4% ticket increase by average. Now, they do have this loyalty program where if you already have tickets and depending on where you're sitting, they don't go up. So, depends how you feel about it. Last year was a pretty good-sized hike in season tickets. Jags sold a ton of season tickets coming off that big 2017 year. And this year, well, might have to work a little bit harder for it considering the fact 5-11. But they do have two things going in their favor. One, the 25th anniversary, there'll be some buzz around that being a part of the Jags, which is good. And the second part of it is they'll most likely have, a new quarterback. And so new coaches, new quarterback usually bring people to get excited about your football team.
I was like, me and my girlfriend were actually talking about potentially getting season tickets this year. They're not horrible. Like, I was looking at the price. They had that graphic on the page. I was like, that's not. Some of these aren't that bad actually, if you think about it.
Yeah, we sit in section 203. Well, I don't really. I sit in the press box and then I'll come down. But we get 4 tickets. The kids have gone and my wife and. I mean, it's been great. I mean, they love going. They are not to the point. I understand some people to the point that have done it for 20, 25 years, and there's been a lot of losing over the last decade. I think we're going on year 4 or 5, and my kids don't say, I don't want to go because they might lose or I think they're going to get blown out or whatever. They just like going. I mean, Ty especially, and Steph likes going. My wife likes going to the games. So
it's a cool atmosphere.
It's fun, and we're in 203. I think we got in. Wasn't there a couple years ago there was like a $30 plan or something like that for a ticket? That might have been the plan we got in under. But, yeah, you can pay a lot of money for tickets some places in that stadium, but there are a lot of reasonably priced tickets in that stadium.
And they're in good spots, too. That's what I was looking at. It's not like the worst locations. And, we love going to, the Bud Zone and just hanging out in that area and even watching the games from up there. That's what we did for the playoff game against the Bills.
I do believe – I walk around a lot of times. I try to get out to some different spots in the stadium and kind of soak it in and see what's going on. I think the Jags have done a really good job with their game day experience. Now, listen, it's more fun when you win, and that helps the game day experience. I think they've done a fantastic job. I always have thought that, and you've seen them increase it. You've seen different things. They try different things, and I think they're going to continue to do that as we see Lot J get built up, maybe later this year or early next year. I think that atmosphere, the other things that they have around the game will also continue to develop as downtown develops. And that was interesting about the release. It says, at this time, there will be no parking changes. But they put at this time, and that was a critical part of that because as they build up Lot J, where do they put the parking? And that's one of the sticking points right now is my understanding of it is they're going to have to build like a $30 million or $40 million parking garage to accommodate. And, when do they do that? How do they do that? Whose money is that? That's things they have to still figure out. But that Lot J deal is getting done, it looks like, and sooner rather than later. Be pretty interesting. So, season tickets for the Jags. Also, release a kicker. Dom Capers news as the senior defensive assistant and at 68 years old. And again, I have 2 things out there if you want to talk some Jags over the next couple of hours. And that is, well, really, there's 3 things. One is Capers. Are the Jags going older when the rest of the league is going younger? And again, Capers' role, be careful to overstate the role. But it seems like a lot of these other teams have gone young. And the Jags obviously have Tom Coughlin. Doug Marrone, I wouldn't call him an old guy. I'm just saying old school. And Capers, are they going the other way? Does that make it harder to relate to these personalities they have in the locker room and the players? Interested on the thoughts there. Antonio Brown or Odell Beckham Jr., if you could have either one, which one would you take? That's out there, and you can chime in 362-9901 and all the social media channels as well. Did want to talk a little bit of hoops coming off the All-Star weekend. Where is the NBA headed in the second half? Is LeBron James going to miss the postseason after all these years in the finals? Is he not even going to make it to the playoffs?
So Vegas has him favored right now not to make the playoffs, which is interesting, I thought. Kuz, your thoughts?
I've been doing a basketball podcast for 5 years, and I think 3 of those years I was betting against LeBron James, and the one thing I've learned is don't do that. Don't ever bet against LeBron James.
What do they have to do, though, to kind of rally in the – I mean, making the playoffs is – what are they out? It's not a huge amount, but you can make – there's plenty of games to catch up. You get cooking a little bit. You have a good couple of weeks. I guess at this stage it is just can you make the playoffs? But we absolutely know they're not going to be a major factor in the postseason. I think that's almost a given.
Yeah, right now they got 28 wins. The Clippers are in 8th, so that last little playoff spot right there at 32. So they're not far off.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you have a good couple weeks. You're right there.
Yeah, good few weeks, and you know, a lot of it's going to be on LeBron James. Like I was just saying, is it's going to be on him. And if it's one thing I've learned is don't bet against him to just suddenly come out of nowhere. He's very big on when he was with the Cavs and when he was with other teams, you know, playing for the playoffs, where like you never see the full LeBron when he realizes it's still okay. But then when he knows, like, hey, that window's shutting, he'll turn it on.
Well, he knows how to pace himself.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
he's pacing himself.
He's learned, even within a playoff postseason, he knows how to pace himself into the finals and knows where he's, you know, there's a sense of that. He's got a great understanding of that. And as many minutes as that guy plays, as many games as he's played over his career, that's an important thing to know.
And the thing worth mentioning this year, though, is, you know, he has had that injury.
Yeah.
And that's kind of abnormal for LeBron. And so everyone's starting to be like, well, his age finally catching up with him, because that was a big thing with him. His age never seemed to really show. So they're wondering if now it's starting to show through, and if, you know, maybe this is the year we see him slump a little.
I think it's more Murphy's Law. I mean, eventually you play long enough in the NBA, you're going to get hurt, and you're going to pull a groin, or you're going to, you know.
All those finals appearances, that's like playing extra seasons, essentially. And that's why the Warriors doing this is still so amazing to me, even though you've got these players. Like, you know, how many, you calculate all those games together, it's got to be like almost an entire other season that they're playing when everyone else is resting and getting ready for the next year.
Kuz, the question I have for you, the Indiana Pacers, they lose Oladipo for the season. They're in 3rd right now in the Eastern Conference, and they're still winning games without him.
The Pacers,
can they sustain this type of, you know, this type of play and whatnot?
They got the guys to do it, and that's one of the biggest things we bring up on the podcast is the tragedy that Oladipo going down is then you would have had, you know, the Bucks, Raptors, Pacers, Celtics, and Sixers, all teams that are like, you could make a legit argument that these guys should go to the finals this year, and it would have been such an exciting, and it still will be, but it would have, that right there would have made the East playoffs like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so much fun.
Magic are even having a little fun.
There, Jonathan Isaac's starting to show through a little bit there.
Former
we were talking
Florida
about
State
him.
Guy, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
5-game winning streak for the Magic right now.
And I don't want to say it's a good thing, because you never want to say an injury is a good thing, but Mo Bamba getting hurt has given Isaac more minutes, and I think that's really starting to let him shine through, and they're showing that patience is working.
One thing I want to ask you about coming off that weekend is Adam Silver and the commissioner, who, again, I mean, I'm not alone, right? I mean, everybody boos the commissioner. In the NBA, the guy's like a rock star.
Oh, they love
Stern
Silver.
got booed like back in the day when he was the
absolutely. Stern got booed.
Yeah.
Obviously, Goodell gets booed, and the what's his name in hockey always gets. Really, he started it, the hockey commissioner. But yeah, I mean I saw the uniform thing, like the smart uniform deal.
That was dumb.
I really I like the idea though. Like if you could make a generic white shirt that you have an app and you can pay for different players and stuff, and you just press it, and then all of a sudden it's, you know, a Kyrie Irving shirt, or you can flip it. Although it takes bandwagoning to a whole nother level.
It's going to be just bandwagoning off the charts, and that's the last thing sports needs. I hate it. I think it's the dumbest thing ever.
See, this is where you just said something that's not right, though.
What's that? Sports
needs bandwagoning.
Yeah, the sports needs bandwagoning, but we don't need fans to be hardcore bandwagoners and put it in our faces.
Why not?
Because it's the dumb.
Do you remember the old jerseys that were like, it was like their away and their home jersey in the same one, so you like flipped it inside out? Like I had an Iverson one that was like that when I was younger, where it was the white Sixers Iverson shirt, and then on the inside it was the black like alternative jerseys.
Well, at least it's still Iverson.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a different play. You can switch players now. Like my iPhone can't hold a charge longer than 2 hours. And
here's the thing: if they
they're
make it
making
like
jerseys that can change names in the back.
But if they make it like it's you buy the Timberwolves, right? So you have to have a Timberwolves player, like that logo stitched in, and then the rest is just flip out the player you want to choose for that day.
Well, by the way, you need a new iPhone.
Give me a break. I know I do.
This is a great idea for the state of Florida fans.
I mean, yeah.
You got nobody in Florida has one team.
It's usually a player that you like,
right? I mean, think about all the people that live in Jacksonville. They don't mind the Jags, or they like the Jags, or some people like the Jags. Most people, and again, I didn't say nobody. That's I'm sure there are some, But I would say more than 50% of the fans here in Jacksonville like another team and the Jags.
True.
It's so transient, right?
Yeah, yep.
The other thing that I kind of think is cool is how many times have you ever bought a jersey and then, like, I have a Kirk Cousins Redskins jersey. I'm never going to wear that again. Like, he's no longer on the team.
There
but
you
if
go.
you,
Free
if you
agency.
have
See, this is
a
good
Kirk
for
Cousins,
the fan.
yeah, then you can flip it to, if you are specifically set to that one player, then
that's that was a responsibility that you took into yourself when you bought that Kirk Cousins jersey. You should have did a little more research. Should have said, hey, maybe he's going to be a free agent. Maybe he's going to go someplace else.
But
you
like,
players have no respect for the fans.
No,
it's
we really don't.
$150 for a jersey,
really
man.
They're not cheap.
Do your research.
But even if let's say you get I might get
you
hate,
can tell me I'm not going to support this thing where we can change the backs of jerseys and different players. I'm not supporting
we get a
Never.
Fournette jersey, and then even if it's 6 years down the line, he's traded.
Yeah, think about all those Allen Robinson jerseys.
Right
now, Tebow. I mean,
Blake
Bortles.
Well, there should be honestly, there should be some kind of exchange where if a player does go to free agency or something, you can trade that jersey into the league and you get a different person back.
I think they do have an exchange program. Yeah,
well, then what are we complaining about? Coos, talking to you.
I'm just saying, these jerseys
you have to
limit
email,
that.
You have to mail something in. This way, you just have to hit a button on an app.
So sorry you have to go, and you're not going to the post office anymore. You just literally got to stand outside your house, put something in an envelope, and mail it. So sorry for the inconvenience.
Get off the couch and interrupt Fortnite or whatever game you're playing. What's the game again? What's the new game you're playing?
Apex Legends,
Apex
man.
Legends.
Come on,
Sorry.
Fortnite. That's so 2018.
I know. My bad.
Oh, I'm cringing.
All right.
I just lost my train of thought.
Yeah. Everybody needs bandwagon fans, man. Are you guys you wear jerseys?
Kinda.
I'm not a jersey guy.
No, neither am
I'm not going to kill you if you are. I'm just saying I'm not a jersey guy.
I like the shirt jerseys.
Yeah. All right.
I'll wear a hockey jersey. That's about it, though.
Hockey jersey's kind of cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not gonna wear a football jersey.
I think I should get you guys all jerseys with my name on the back of it.
Yeah, see how long those last
Maybe
for.
we'll do it.
Then I'm gonna opt for the name change on the back then. And that kind of technology.
It's back to football next on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
I'm Aaron, and I am not the proud owner of the largest contract in sports history. As of today, that distinction belongs to one Manny Machado.
He is heading to the San Diego Padres a year after getting Eric Hosmer for $140 million. Strike first in this market. They get the 26-year-old Machado, a Gold Glove third baseman, a great shortstop, and add him to a nucleus that includes perhaps the best farm system in baseball.
So not only are the San Diego Padres stacked, but they grabbed the 26-year-old Machado for 10 years at $300 million, and he earned all of it. The four-time All-Star hit $297 last year, 37 homers, 107 RBIs. It also looks like the end of a 2-year spending spree for the Padres, where the club's doled out $474 million over the last 2 seasons. Meanwhile, over in Pittsburgh, Steelers wideout Antonio Brown has reportedly met with team owner Art Rooney, both men now saying parting ways makes the most sense. And finally, Tony Romo will play in his second PGA Tour event. He's accepted a sponsor's exemption to the AT&T Byron Nelson. Stream our radio station when you're not by a radio. Just go to ESPN690.com and hit the Listen Live button.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jax here on ESPN 690. And although the focus has shifted a little bit from football and heading into basketball season, maybe even baseball season, we have not lost our focus on helping you get the best car buying experience. If you haven't been to see my friends at the new Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville, you've got to see this new state-of-the-art showroom and meet their fantastic people. Beyond that, if you're thinking about buying a new or pre-owned car, you really should go see the team at the new Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. I'm really confident you'll find their approach to be a breath of fresh air. Take it from me. I drive a Hyundai, and my friends at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville emphasize a no-risk and no-pressure approach. They offer a limited lifetime warranty that's good anywhere in the United States, and if you're not 100% satisfied with your vehicle for any reason, you can bring it back within the first 7 days for your money back. Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville is located on Atlantic Boulevard. You can schedule a test drive today at JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com and tell them Brent Martineau sent you.
When you fire up a John Deere 1 Series tractor, you can tackle the job without wrestling the attachments. Hook up everything from a front loader to a drive-over mower deck in no time. So you can haul gravel, cut grass, or do any job in between. Because when things just click, work just gets done. And now get a 1 Series for just $99 a month at your nearest participating John Deere dealer. Nothing runs like a Deere. Run with us. Search John Deere 1 Series for more. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
It's time for some straight talk. Picture this. Your favorite team is playing. You're streaming the game. 10 seconds left. Your team shoots. Oops, your data runs out.
Look, don't let that happen. Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get 25 gigs of high-speed data, all on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks.
Join Team Straight Talk and get unlimited talk and text plus 25 gigs of high-speed data for just $45 a month.
Straight Talk Wireless, everything for less, only at Walmart.
First 25 gigs at high speed, then 2G. See terms at straighttalk.com.
David Lane talks about his experience with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
I've been active my whole life. I grew up here in Jacksonville, played a lot of athletic sports. Over time, my body kind of broke down and I wasn't able to perform some of the activities that I used to. I've had 4 different surgeries at Southeast Orthopedic. I think the staff at Southeast Orthopedic is second to none. The doctors are great. The therapy is second to none. It's been a great experience.
Get your body moving again with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Find out more at se-ortho.com.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Radio Sports Center.
I'm Kevin Winter. Manny Machado with the San Diego Padres agree on a 10-year deal worth $300 million today. This according to ESPN's Jeff Passan. Machado hit 37 home runs, knocked in 107 while posting a career-high 905 OPS between the Orioles and the Dodgers a season ago. And now he's headed to San Diego. Not exactly what he originally wanted, according to ESPN baseball analyst Mark Teixeira.
Listen, San Diego is not a bad second option. It's probably the most beautiful city in the major leagues. You get to spend, half of the year in a great city with a rabid fan base. When the Padres win, the fans show up. It is a great place to play, and he's got a chance to be a cornerstone for this franchise. And the Padres took a gamble here, and they're going to see if it pays off.
They took a gamble on a 26-year-old who's likely to play third base this season. By the way, the view from the desert has the Padres win total going up 3 to 79.5. Their odds to win the World Series dropped from 80-1 to 50-1 to win the NL pennant, 50-1 to 25-1. Now the baseball world waits to see where Bryce Harper's going to sign.
The Giant Junior Bacon Cheeseburger is only at Wendy's. Get double the fresh, never frozen beef and 4 strips of Applewood smoked bacon alongside 4-piece nuggets, small fries, and a small drink for the junior price of $5. Available participating U.S. Wendy's for a limited time. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
You watch Action Sports Jax on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
Now Action Sports Jax is on your radio. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Here's your host, Brent Martineau.
We got some jersey responses. Duval Doom, he's got it right. He gets a jersey with Duval Doom on the back of it. Like I said, I'll get you guys all a jersey with my name on it.
That's one of those jerseys that you get it. If you change it from Jacksonville to something else, it's not going to make sense.
Hey, are we missing the happy hour horn right now?
Oh, we're about to set it up.
I'm just making sure.
We're about to set it up. I just want to get through this jersey stuff because Jonathan Wilbur chimed in and says Fanatics has a jersey protection program that covers free agents and trades.
There we go.
See?
So I don't want to see these name switching jerseys anymore then.
All right. Raise your drink. It's happy hour horn time. Yeah.
Should I say with some kind of, how about I say in Wisconsin accent this time?
Do it.
Oh yeah, there. Hey, yeah. We're gonna grab a drink and we're gonna get a beer, yeah, and maybe go watch some of those Packers or maybe go watch the Packers and Milwaukee Bucks. You know the Milwaukee Bucks. They got that one guy. They call him the Greek Freak. I can't pronounce his name, but you know who I'm talking about. Go Packers, go Brooks, and go Brewers.
I like how it took you a second. You had to say a few words to get into it.
Yeah. You had to get rolling a little bit.
Well, it's not something I do every single day, guys. Sorry.
That's good stuff. Hey, on the Twitter and Facebook, where you can see us, follow the Facebook page, ESPN 690, and on Twitter, where the show is at. Someone said they had a Bernie Parent jersey. Former goaltender.
That's, Macho Canadians.
Speaking of Wisconsin accent, that sounded a little Canadian.
Oh, yeah.
As well. How close to, do you just jump over to the border? Jump over the border
From
there?
Wisconsin?
Yeah.
Are there lakes in the way? I can't remember right now. Well, no. So it's hard in Wisconsin because you got the upper Michigan too. So you have to go over.
You got to go over and up.
I think.
Right.
I mean, I was horrible at geography, but I assume.
But
that's
you didn't live that close to it anyway.
No. I mean,
is where you grew up? Is that southern Wisconsin?
So we're right in the middle of the state,
right
smack dab in the middle.
Okay.
Yep. So we have a little bit of everything going on.
You know, I'm intrigued by this tweet I got. Someone said I was about to get roasted on Twitter. I don't know what I said in the last segment. Maybe it was jersey wearing folks.
To you or
Something
me?
It was me.
Probably.
What did I say? I don't know, but I haven't gotten roasted that much on Twitter, so.
Come on, bring it. Let's go.
We'll
Roast
see.
him.
Roast him.
Roast this guy.
I mean, Kathy already told me yesterday I sucked. I got that going for me.
Are you going to change your Twitter like the Hurricanes did?
Bring it on. Bring it on. Hey, you got a little stay in your lane.
Yep.
Here at 4 o'clock on a Tuesday.
4:04,
What do you
but
got,
hey,
beef jerky?
I came ready. Yeah, don't worry about that beef jerky. That's not for you. That's for me. That's protein for me.
I thought you were giving it to me.
Well, truth be told, it's actually chicken jerky. So,
not as good.
It's, truth be told, not bad. It's a chicken sriracha. It's got 13 grams of protein. And it's gluten free.
There you go. Protein up.
All right. Stay in your lane. Manny Machado made that big deal. Brent, your thoughts on that before we get started
10 years,
here?
$300 million, man.
No big deal, right?
Hey, good for the Padres. Go get him. I think he's going to get stuck out there, and good to get him away from the AL East. Thank you. No Yankees, no Orioles. The Red Sox don't have to deal with him.
And here's my whole theory.
Fantastic player.
Listen, you can make $200 million. What's another $1 million after that, or $300 million? But are you going to win a championship in San Diego? Do you think?
Well, no, I don't think.
Yeah,
but over 10 years, a lot changes over in the next few years. Maybe they're doing something. Listen, that's from I get the question from Manny Machado's perspective, but at least San Diego's trying.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of these teams that don't try.
Yeah.
And so if anybody says, hey, they're not trying at all, well, you can't say that about the Padres right now. They're trying.
And like I always say, Brent, sometimes it's not about how much money you make, it's what the money says. And if they paid him that much money, it means they want him that bad. So
they want him that bad. And listen, he's a talented player. Mm-hmm. He plays a prime position, and he can play short, he can play third.
Yeah.
And he's such a good player.
Yeah.
My view has been, and he came really close last year with the Dodgers, but I just don't think a player like that, unless he matures a lot, I don't really like what I see from the outside. My perception of Manny Machado is he's not a super team guy, and I don't think a guy like that wins a World Series. I'll be surprised if he gets it done. Padres are not. I think he could have gone to a lot of teams, and I'm not sure he would have gotten you over the hump. I think those things matter to win in October.
Well, we are cruising in this conversation right now, so getting back to my cruise control, Kuz, hit us with this audio quick.
Machado just signed a $300 million deal with the Padres. Why not?
I don't want anybody for the Yankees. I don't want Bogarts. I don't want Bat. I don't want Donaldson. I don't want any of those guys. You can take any other guy in the league. I just don't want anybody. You're not going to take a guy you hate from another team. Hey, Brad. It's kind of like taking Tom Brady from the Patriots and adding him to the Dolphins. It just doesn't happen.
First of all, did that kid ingest all the helium? But number two,
that's a Yankees fan kid.
So yeah, this is a Yankees fan kid at spring training. I think he's like 5 years old.
Hey, listen, you little brat!
Hey,
you took Roger Clemens and Wade Boggs.
Well, dang, Brent, tell us how you really feel about it. Anyways, I thought that kid was in cruise control because he listed off like 3 names I didn't even recognize. So obviously the kid knows his baseball knowledge. He's passionate. He's a fan. Even though he's a Yankees fan, he's still entertaining and whatnot. Like I said, he inhaled maybe all the helium, but I don't know. I just thought it was a cool story, and it was a cool video. So props to that kid for being passionate about his team, starting out at 5 years old, whatever like that. I'm
Typical
sure he's been listening.
Yankee fan.
Well, I'm sure he's been listening to his dad too a lot and swearing and cussing, so he took after him.
Hey,
but
you know what? That is an interesting deal, though.
What's that?
He brings up a good point. Listen, I loved Roger Clemens and Wade Boggs growing up. I lost a little bit of my love, respect, whatever. I didn't mind when they went when Toronto and Tampa, but you went to the Yankees, man. I mean, that's totally different. And so I agree with the little kid to a degree where it says it's this day and age. It's changed so much because guys shift teams. And listen, the Red Sox are guilty of it, will be guilty of it, and then you embrace those guys. But it is something to it in that rivalry. And
didn't Johnny Damon do
the
the same thing too?
Damon. That's right. I should have yelled at Damon too. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to and another one did it too. I play center for him. Ellsbury. Jacoby Ellsbury.
Jacoby?
Yeah. It's just the nature of it, you know? But, Damon was really hard, too, because he was on that idiot team that won the World Series. I mean, that was big against that Yankees-Red Sox rivalry had heated way back up in 2003, 2004. And you're like, really? You going the Yankees? So you lose a little bit of something. So I'm actually, I might have called the little kid a brat, but he's probably right. I think it's hard to get somebody from a rival team. Not the case, doesn't feel that way in football. I don't feel like it. I'm not sure anymore. It does feel a little bit like that in basketball. Like I'm not rooting for LeBron James as much as he's with the Lakers. I love LeBron James. I think I'm a huge fan. I want him to win it all in Cleveland. Not really so in L.A. I mean, that's just from my childhood because I just don't like L.A. It's not that I even love the Celtics anymore. Yeah. Just that I'm not supposed to like the Lakers.
No, for sure.
So, I mean, there is
an
element of that.
In you. Yeah, it's programmed in you.
Yeah.
I understand that.
There's an element of that that does exist. But I think you almost have to have that intense rivalry, too. You got to be able to feel that rivalry. And there's not a lot of those in professional sports. There are some, but not a lot.
So now, are you going to work on your apology now or later for
ripping the kid?
For calling a 5-year-old kid.
No.
Okay.
Not sorry.
We'll see what our sponsors say about that.
I think his parents probably agree at times, too.
We'll see what our sponsors say about that. But, that kid had a really high voice, so I don't need to watch that video again or see that video again, but I thought it was funny. So, speaking of funny, another horrible transition for me, pump your brakes. Pump your brakes. Got to go to the AAF. Week 1, they missed the payroll and were needed a bailout by $250 million from, hey, who else? The guy that runs the Carolina Hurricanes. Props to him for giving the money. But
Storm Surge
coming in the AAF as well. So, hey, it's week 1. Players aren't getting paid yet. Not a good look by anybody. The league told that the league was on quote saying they told the agents that there's a glitch in the system.
Yeah,
and that's why
glitches. We didn't have enough money.
Yeah, so that's why players didn't get paid. It's week 1, man. It's not a good look. Like, people are watching it, and I get from week 2 the numbers are down a little bit. Players want to play for you guys. Please don't screw them over, and please make this work and pay the guys. I mean, you saw Ryan Davis get carted off on the field. It's a big deal. Guys got to get paid. Come on.
Here's a quote from Charlie Ebersol. This has been an extraordinary undertaking for us. It's a giant challenge and opportunity. As a startup, you are constantly looking for some peace of mind. When we got out of the first week of games, we saw there was so much interest from investors, and if we had one person who could take care of us for a very long time, that would be great. So that's the spin from that view. I've seen both sides of this. Everybody, I think Darren Ravel was really on it early this morning, and people are saying, they're caught on to, they can't survive, to your point. I don't know how you want to judge the glitch in the system, but some folks down in Orlando are saying that wait a minute, how do you look at it that way? This guy is an investor, and he just put $250 million in. If he doesn't believe in it, why would he have just put all that money in?
I'm just saying, when guys aren't getting paid on time, regardless of what job this is, it's not a good look.
It's a little surprising when week 1.
Yeah.
It's almost like I could believe the glitch a little bit more, because it's shocking that they've done a lot of things well.
Yeah.
The AAF has done a lot of things well. So for them to not have the way they look like they have their ducks in a row, for them to not have already planned out week 1 payment.
How are you going to pay your players?
I would have been surprised if that's the case, but I mean, it's hard not to say that is the case. So I get it. Interesting. I'm rooting for this league.
So am I. It's giving guys opportunity, and the guys are getting paid playing football, so of course I'm going to root for it. But it's 1 week and you can't pay your players. It's not a good look, regardless of what happened. Maybe it was just like a little glitch, like they said, but regardless, guys weren't getting paid, and that's not a good look.
Yeah, that's never a good look. By the way, when we come back, I'll tell you how that Orlando Apollos team might be visiting Jacksonville more often than not. And also, you talked to Manny Machado. Where does this leave Bryce Harper? And why he might have made a bad decision. That's next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
The President's Day sale at Arlington Toyota has been extended. This is your chance to put more presidents back in your pocket all month long at Arlington Toyota. Arlington Toyota has over 1,000 new and used on the lot every day, and they're discounted now with President's Day savings. During the President's Day sale going on right now at Arlington, you can choose Jacksonville like a 2019 Camry LE or a 2019 Corolla LE for $0 down or $159 a month. That's a pre-owned 2019 Camry or a Corolla for $0 down or $159 a month. Amazing savings at 0% down or $159 a month. That's a pre-owned 2019 Highlander from just $28,988. Arlington is all about putting you behind the wheel, and that includes their new free iPreCheck service powered by TransUnion. It's the easy way to check your real credit without affecting your credit score. No Social Security number required. Save some presidents now at the Arlington Toyota President's Day sale extended through the end of the month. 10939 Atlantic Boulevard or online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com.
Hi, everyone. This is Allie McNeil from the Best Bet Poker Rooms in Jacksonville and Orange Park. WPT Deep Stacks returns to Jacksonville March 1st. The series features 12 total events with the main event guaranteeing over $300,000. Satellite into the $1,500 main event for as little as $85. Pick up all the bragging rights and cash. Plus, make your claim to fame in this year's WPT Deep Stack Series. Satellites run now through March 9th. For all tournament information, visit them on the web at bestbetjacks.com.
March is right around the corner, and that means the Players' Championship will be here before you know it. We have your chance to win tickets to the newest venue at the Players, the Captain's Club, which includes beer, wine, and soda. To enter, go to our contest page at ESPN690.com.
This is Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau
on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Little magic whiteboard going on right now. You went deep yesterday with the eye story. That's what I had one comment say. You went deep. Mike Dungy, thanks for shouting out. Says he's loving the show. Appreciate you jumping on, getting some comments on the feeds. You can always check us out, of course, video-wise on Facebook on the ESPN 690 page, at my Twitter at Brent A.S. Jacks. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We got something up on the YouTube channel right now. We just posted from the TV side of things. I'm going to post more videos, whether it's something we're doing now or in the past. And it sparked, I'll tell you what sparked this yesterday. We put up a story that we did back in 2011 called No Arms and No Legs. It was on Kent Bell, who was born with no arms and no legs, and he was a scoreboard operator at the University of North Florida. It's probably the most memorable story I've done in 20 years of television. And, I mean, just a fascinating human. He has since passed away. He passed away a couple years ago. And I'm not sure if you caught the story on ESPN over the weekend about the football coach out in California.
I did see
He's
that.
coaching a JV team, no arms, no legs. And when I saw it, I was like, wow. I mean, there are so few people in the world born that way.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, we had the privilege to meet one and do a story on Kent here in Jacksonville. And it's just, 10 years or whatever, 8 years later, it's still a very memorable story for me. And I just wanted to go back into the archives and check it out because I hadn't seen it in a long time. And so we posted it on our YouTube page. So if you want to take a look, check it out.
Definitely
you can
check that
subscribe on Action Sports Jacks. It's not like, hey, great job with the story. It's more of, I couldn't mess up this story because that guy's just an unbelievable person.
Mm-hmm.
And so you'll be able to see it. Patrick Cavanaugh, actually, who now works with the Jags, was at our place at that time. He helped put it together. But it was phenomenal. And that's kind of what I love about our business is you get to tell stories like that. But anyway, on the YouTube channel, you can subscribe at Action Sports Jacks to our channel. And hopefully you'll do that and check it out. And you can also see the show live and comment along the way. Sorry, I interrupted the magic whiteboard. What do you got?
Oh, well, I was distracted because Kuz was looking at something on the computer, and I couldn't tell what it was. So I want to get what he was looking at.
But are we going to be able to say it?
Oh, no, yeah, it's all good. But he actually walked out now, so
yeah,
I'll
he just
ask him
said he
later.
had to leave.
But anyways, I'm sure he did. The magic whiteboard, 15-2, 15-4, 15-6, 15-8, pay for 10, and knobs is 11. Who wants some? Yeah, that's cribbage, Brent. You looked at me like I was crazy.
Yeah, I am.
What do you mean?
15-2, 15-4, 15-6, 15-8, pair for 10. Knobs is 11. All right.
Do you know what knobs is? Brent, you don't even play cribbage, man.
No, I told you last week I have played cribbage.
Okay, so cribbage. So knobs is when the jack matches the suit.
Huh.
That's knobs.
I obviously don't know the terminology.
Obviously, you don't. And
when's the
obviously,
last
you
time
can't
you
play
played
with me.
cribbage?
Ooh, it's been 3 or 4 years.
Oh, that soon? Oh, it's probably been a decade or more for me. But
yeah, whenever I go back home, I try to play it every once in a while.
Yeah,
just haven't.
It's a cool
got
game.
around to it. Yep. So
but I obviously didn't know the terminology, and it's been a long time, so I had no idea what you were talking about.
So basically, anybody watching in Jacksonville on the stream was probably really confused, and anybody in Wisconsin was like, props to A-Lane for dropping some cribbage knowledge.
Hey, if you want to win tickets to the Players Championship, go check out our new website, ESPN690.com, and you can go to the Players Championship, win a pair of weekly passes to the Captain's Club at the Players. Go on and register right now to do that. Brett Martineau, Austin Lane, Kuz is back. We're in the Wawa sweatshirt.
Kuz, got a question for you quick before we start to get the show back on the road. What were you looking at on that screen?
Are you saying it was off the rails?
So very
careful how you answer this question.
No,
sponsors are listening.
No, Dylan Francis, who's a DJ, tweeted a photo of himself and said, whoever could do the best Photoshop job on this photo, I'll give a prize. And so I was looking at it, thinking of ways.
What was the photo of, Kuz?
Just a picture of him.
Doing what?
It looked like he was like hanging outside of a shower curtain.
Yeah, and he didn't have a shirt on either.
He didn't have a shirt.
So, Brian, so get this. So I stand up and I'm doing the whiteboard segment, and I just turn to my right to see if Kuz wanted to see it. And Kuz is on the computer looking at this picture. I was like,
of a guy with no shirt on.
Interesting.
You're like, what's going on there?
Interesting.
Okay, I
can
see
it
why
kind of
that
looked
red
like
flag.
the from The Shining, like the face he was making, kind of made me think of the Here's Johnny, like coming through the. So that's what I was. That was the thought process going through my head at the time that you were doing that.
The Shining, good movie.
Great movie. But don't spit on Jack Nicholson and do that, man. Like, don't ever put that.
It's too late. I already actually did it and tweeted the photo. So.
You know what movie I watched this week? First time ever?
What'd you get?
Blind Side.
What'd you think?
I liked it.
It's all right.
It was all right.
Hey, quick question
for you.
You know
I didn't watch it?
What's
Back in
that?
the day, we did a story on a kid around here. It's all about old stories, I'm telling you. And he had a blind side kind of story, and it was right around the time the movie came out. It just happened to be. There was that wasn't the plan. It just happened. And so I just told myself I do not want to watch this movie because I do not want to copy or subconsciously tell the story like in the same exact way. I want this to kind of be organic, and so I didn't want that in my mind at all, even though you kind of knew what the Blind Side story was. I just didn't watch the movie. And then all these years later, I never watched the movie. I'd probably seen like 5 or 10 minutes, and it was Home Alone Saturday night, so I watched it.
Quick question for you. Best football movie of all time. Go.
Oh, gosh. I'm not going to come up with a good answer here. Remember the Titans?
Yeah, I mean, that's a
or Jerry
one.
Maguire. Does that count as a football movie?
No, come on, Brent. No.
No?
That's like a romantic comedy thing.
I know, but I think football.
No. I can't allow Jerry Maguire to be
I say Remember
movie.
the Titans. Probably Remember the Titans.
How are you going to pick Jerry Maguire over like Varsity Blues or
The Replacements?
Friday Night Lights, Replacements,
Any
the
Given
program,
Sunday?
Any Given Sunday is a good
Can
one
I
too.
pick the TV series Friday Night Lights?
No.
Like I know it's not a movie,
That doesn't
but
count.
all right.
Isn't that like a drama, like romantic thing too?
There's a lot of football in it, at least
Well,
for
I
the first
hope
few
so.
seasons.
It's called Friday Night Lights.
Right, it's based off football
How about
players.
Friday
Tim
Night
Riggins,
Tights?
come on.
Like the reality
I've seen
show?
Friday
The
Night
Crazy
Tights.
Guys?
Yeah, yep. I have seen that. Yeah.
That's real, baby.
Oh, I
Why? You know
can't
what I
wait.
never understand? Are people so shameless that you would actually sign up and put yourself under that scrutiny? I mean, they are. I mean, look at all these reality shows. Like, that's what I say about The Bachelor. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That you would not. There's no way I would do that.
Dude, I already told you. I'm thinking about putting my son on YouTube playing with toys and getting me in there and making, a couple $1 million off that YouTube money. So,
Well, why don't you just tell
I
people
have
to
no
subscribe
shame.
to our channel and maybe we can make a
Oh,
couple $1 million
that
that
reminds
way.
me. Yeah, so subscribe, like and subscribe to Action Sports Jax on YouTube. Check us out.
Yeah, we're only a couple million subscribers away from making
You
money.
need at least an average, I think, of 1,000 views per video to even start talking to YouTube about making
Yeah,
money.
I heard you need like 250,000 subscribers.
Yeah, you
something
need
like that.
a
Somewhere
huge
in that
amount, yeah.
neighborhood.
Okay, well, it sounds like I have to go home tonight and make a lot of burner accounts. Fair enough.
Do we have friends? I mean, I've tried to push the podcast to get us up the board in your algorithm
Yeah,
you were talking
yeah.
about. I'm not sure if we have 25 5-star ratings yet.
No, we had, last I checked, it was 7 or 8, I believe.
That's it?
Yeah.
Come on, people. Let's go. Support the cause. Download the podcast. Subscribe to the podcast.
Yep.
And then when you do that, make sure you give it a 5-star rating, whether you like it or not. We're trying to catch Stugotz and the boys.
No, for sure.
They got like 91 million.
I know, it's insane. So then I'm a little confused, though, Kuz. So with this whole podcasting thing, like, can we get other advertisements for that? Because people make money off podcasts because of advertisements.
Yeah, the company has a way to insert stuff. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay,
I see. This is
I'm
all,
thinking long
I see.
term,
It
bro.
took about 5-6 weeks, but this is all getting back to dollars for Austin Lane now.
It's always about the money. The game has and always has been
He played the
about
game
the money.
for a few weeks, and now here we go. How do we make some money off this, Coos?
It's not about it's not about the money. It's what the money represents. Enough said.
Hey, Action Sports Jack Stewart Weber stopping in. I listen. I teased a couple things, and I have to deliver. It says so on my sheet.
See that?
Deliver teases, yeah.
I'm
getting a lot of hate online right now.
I'm pumping the podcast. I'm pumping the YouTube channel. I did the players' tickets, and now it's deliver on the teases. And two things I said. There's a lot of rumbling, and I tried to confirm with the Orlando Apollos today. But there's rumblings that they're going to shift some of their operation for a portion of the season to Jacksonville. And I don't think this is money related in terms of today's story coming out of there. It's more like there's word that it's like insurance related, that they'll end up practicing in Georgia. And so they'll stay in Jacksonville. So we're keeping an eye on that story. But there's been hints that that could happen. And we're hearing that more and more. When that takes place, like as soon as next week, or is it a couple weeks down the road? How long it's for? The details of it unknown, but very interesting part of that. Stuart and I heard it. We've heard it a couple times now.
Yeah, and one thing that we know is happening is that the weekly TV show with head coach Steve Spurrier is going to tape a few episodes here at our studios.
Yes, that's happening.
That is
too.
Confirmed.
Well, so if that's happening, and I follow the connect the
3 and
dots,
9
why would they be
together.
taping here?
Yeah,
you get the idea. So
do some quick math.
So anyway, it's something to follow. You heard it here first, or maybe you heard it somewhere else, but I'm going to tell you heard it here first. That could happen. Keep an eye on that. Real quick before we head to a timeout, get back to some football talk. Where does this leave Bryce Harper? Manny Machado, 10 years, $300 million, $30 million deal. Keep in mind, the Washington Nationals offered that to Harper when he was exiting stage left. They said well, I shouldn't say clearly they offered that, but that was a reports that they offered before they broke up. Said, hey, $300 million. Well, there's been long talk for over a year now that some people in Bryce Harper's camp thought he might get $450 million.
It's clearly not happening now.
Well, that ain't happening.
It's almost $500 million.
Yeah.
That's just, oh, man.
And so
and baseball money, too, not football money.
And there's a couple of things happening here. Like the Phillies could still be in play. The White Sox in play. Heck, this could be happening right now, and I just haven't seen it. I think it's about to go down here soon now that the Machado piece has fallen. But where does he end up? And I can't help but think of the Phillies. Are they smart or not smart to hold off on this and wait for Trout to become available and the hometown kid come home and spend all your dollars on Mike Trout, who's, by the way, a way better player than Bryce Harper? I love Bryce Harper. I really do. I like what he's all about. I think he's awesome for the game. His problem to me right now is he's not as good as advertised. He hasn't been. Like Manny Machado has put up some sick numbers. Bryce Harper is not. Harper is a good player, very good player, but he's not $40 million a year good player. Now he's 25 years old, so he's going into his prime, and he's only going to get better. But I will say this: I like him a lot. I'm a big fan of his. I hope he becomes the star of the game with Trout because I think he can help with that younger generation and be that focal
Kids
point.
love Bryce Harper.
And I do, and that's the point, right?
Yeah.
I think, and he's polarizing to a degree. I think there's some people that are listening right now say, "I hate that guy." And I think there are.
True.
That's
as a fan of a team in the division, yes.
Yeah,
I hate that
That's a
guy.
good star to have, though. Polarizing
Who's your
guy.
team? Atlanta Braves.
Oh, okay.
That's a good star to have. That's if you can have Bryce Harper be that good for the next 10 years. But he's not going to get. What is he going to get now? 320, 315, 310?
Maybe.
And he should have maybe just stayed
put.
in Washington.
If he's out of the AFC,
or the NL?
Yeah, if he's out of the NL, what am I talking about? AFC East, I was about to say. If he's out of the NL East, that'd be terrific.
Sports Illustrated saying that don't rule out the Padres to try to land Bryce Harper as well.
There was talk of that.
Huh? How does that work? Where are they getting this money from all of a sudden?
Well,
Carolina
they didn't spend
Hurricanes
for years,
owner, maybe.
man.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they had like no payroll.
Okay.
You can spend as much as you want if you don't mind paying taxes on it.
True.
In Major League Baseball. Hey, when we come back, Odell Beckham Jr. or Antonio Brown. Ooh. Next on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
I'm Aaron, and I am not the proud owner of the largest contract in sports history. As of today, that distinction belongs to one Manny Machado.
He is heading to the San Diego Padres a year after getting Eric Hosmer for $140 million. Strike first in this market. They get the 26-year-old Machado, a Gold Glove third baseman, a great shortstop, and add him to a nucleus that includes perhaps the best farm system in baseball.
So not only are the San Diego Padres stacked, but they grabbed the 26-year-old Machado for 10 years at $300 million, and he earned all of it. The four-time All-Star hit $297 last year, 37 homers, 107 RBIs. It also looks like the end of a two-year spending spree for the Padres, where the club's doled out $474 million over the last 2 seasons. Meanwhile, over in Pittsburgh, Steelers wideout Antonio Brown has reportedly met with team owner Art Rooney. Both men now saying parting ways makes the most sense. And finally, Tony Romo will play in his second PGA Tour event. He's accepted a sponsor's exemption to the AT&T Byron Nelson. Stream our radio station when you're not by a radio. Just go to ESPN690.com and hit the Listen Live button.
Hey everyone, this is Austin Lane from ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jax. I'm inviting you, your colleagues and friends to Pints and Pucks with the Jax Sports Council Young Professionals and the Jacksonville Icemen. Wednesday, February 27th, join the Jax Sports Council Young Professionals for a night of great networking and fun. Pints and Pucks starts at 5 at Intuition Ale Works downtown. Then we'll move to the arena for the puck drop at 7. Pints and Pucks is open to everyone, with a portion of the proceeds going to the Send the Child to the Game program. See you at Pints and Pucks.
There are those who play the blues. Then there's Chicago's electric blues legend, the one and only Buddy Guy.
And it goes down.
Saturday, March 23rd at the Florida Theater.
Well, you know it's 9 below 0.
Tickets are on sale now at the box office and at floridatheater.com. Don't miss Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee Buddy Guy.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jackson, ESPN 690. Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville is the home of the North American Utility Vehicle of the Year, the 2019 Hyundai Kona. This new crossover utility vehicle is a perfect fit for a family who doesn't need as much room as the Hyundai Santa Fe, but more room than the Hyundai Elantra. Their customer service is top-notch at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville, and you never have to worry about a high-pressure, haggling sales approach to you buying a car. My friends at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville offer the no-risk, no-pressure approach. If you don't absolutely love your new Hyundai, you can bring it back within the first 7 days for your money back. They also offer a lifetime warranty that's good anywhere in the United States. Schedule a test drive today at JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com or just swing by the showroom on Atlantic Boulevard. I'm confident your experience at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville will be just as good as mine has been. Tell them Brent Martineau sent you and drop me a line on social media. Let me know how your experience was at the new Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville.
You look at the way Paul George is playing, and you look at Russell Westbrook. I don't think anybody can deny Oklahoma City may be the biggest threat to the Golden State Warriors.
The Stephen A. Smith Show, weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m. on ESPN 690.
You watch Action Sports Jax on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
Now Action Sports Jax is on your radio. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Here's your host, Brent Martineau.
Oh, all sorts of reaction.
From you calling out a 5-year-old?
No, not yet.
Oh. Give it some time.
That could happen. Brian says best football movie, Best of Times with Kurt Russell and Robin Williams. Good cast. You haven't seen it? I feel like I've caught that one late at night sometime.
I may never even heard of it, honestly. Yeah.
I haven't heard of it.
Okay, so I'm not by myself.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I know.
it's
Gotta be an old movie.
Do you guys remember North Dallas 40?
No.
Nick Nolte? Yeah.
Maybe now that you say Nick Nolte, I feel like I've.
That was another classic one too. I remember watching that movie as a kid and thinking like I'm never gonna play football because like in the movie he's like aged out and he's like you just can't get out of bed and walk anymore. He's addicted to pain pills. I'm like, this looks miserable. Who wants to play football?
Yeah, let's go do this for a
Longest
living.
Yard.
The original?
The Longest Yard, yeah.
Or
Even the one with Adam Sandler was pretty good.
Did you know there was an original or not?
I did know there was original.
Okay.
I haven't seen
Thank
it, but
goodness.
Yeah. Thank goodness.
I missed the conversation, but I'd go Friday Night Lights. I don't know if anyone
Well,
else.
that's what Johnny
threw that
Duval
one in
Doom
there.
says. Friday Night Lights is the answer. Movie,
Are you
not
talking-
TV show.
yeah,
TV show's great. Movie's
Movie.
amazing.
Have you seen the TV show?
I don't watch the TV show. No.
Yeah.
Tim Riggins is a legend.
TV show is fictional.
The TV
Movie is
show.
faction.
I mean, I remember when it first came out, and the trailer was all about like the owner's daughter or something with one
She's
of the
a big
players.
part of it, yeah.
That's all it was. I didn't see any kind of football
No,
action whatsoever.
There's still a lot of football in it. Like
well, the
first,
trailer sucked, so it
there's
was all romance.
I think it was during when the writer's strike happened. So like there's a lot of football, and then the writer's strike happened, and then I guess they brought in some new people, and it kind of like switched. Like it was like after 4 years, a whole new cast, and so that's when it got like there was still football, but it wasn't necessarily like the coach switches schools, and so it's a different.
Okay.
It was still good. I thought the whole thing was great.
What made the movie cool for me is that my first job was in Midland, Odessa, so I covered the actual team from the movie.
That is pretty cool.
In
that
my
was pretty
first
awesome.
job, the Permian
And
Panthers.
was it a lot like that?
It was a lot
wasn't
like that.
fabricated or anything. It was
no,
the real deal.
there was Friday nights where you'd have 20,000 people, standing room only, in a town of 100,000. I mean, that was what was happening, and that's where everybody was. It was we had weekly press conferences for the 4 high schools in those 2 towns.
Think about that.
Yeah.
That, by the way, actually, with Jack Stewart Weber jumping on if you're just catching in, but I mean that's unbelievable.
It's
They had
unreal.
press conferences for like the Jags do press conferences, Florida does press conferences, but like Jacksonville University's football team doesn't do press conferences. You know, a lot of football teams don't. The big D1s, big Power 5s, and in places where you cover, and that's all you have to. High school coaches are doing press conferences on a weekly basis.
Monday we'd go to Permian and then Odessa High, and then Tuesday we'd go to Midland High and Midland Lee.
That's awesome.
Did you ever read the book Friday Night Lights?
I did not read the book.
See, we had
I
to
actually
read it
don't
in
know
high
how to
school.
read.
Makes sense.
I just watched the movies of everything,
We had to read the
My
book for a
philosophy.
sports literature class in high school. Yeah, that's right. I had a sports literature class in high school. Pretty cool. And we had to read that book.
So it happens in No Town,
Easy,
Wisconsin.
Hey, Brad, first of all, mind your P's and Q's. All right? Don't talk smack about the T-Birds right now. Brad, I'm telling you right now, you're about to cross the line. You're about to cross the line,
I might
Brad.
be a horrible Philadelphia resident for not saying Invincible, the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Listen, you guys, there's
What was
between
his name,
music and
Macaulay
movie
or
talk
something?
on this show, you're going to start looking at a blank stare from me sooner or later.
Yeah.
All right.
No, you've seen Invincible.
The best part
that's
about
one
the
with
movie is the
Wahlberg.
pun in the name of it, that his name Vince is in Vince.
I don't think I've seen
Vince
That's it.
McCauley with Mark Wahlberg, where he's trying to make the Eagles.
I don't think I've seen it.
True story.
It was a true
Supposedly.
story. Yeah. I
That
saw it.
and Rudy too. That's another good one.
I've heard of
yeah.
that.
How do we not do Rudy?
He was offsides though. It's whatever. It's all good. Oh, hey, it's
I've met
crazy.
him before.
So my dad is actually in that movie, Rudy. Yeah. So my dad grew up playing football and whatnot. He played D3, and they're looking for people to play football at halftime at Notre Dame to film the movie. And my dad got accepted. So there's a scene before Rudy goes out for the last game where he makes his sack or whatever, where there's a scene where everyone's praying in the bathroom. There's like 3 guys in the bathroom, and my
Really?
pops is one of them.
He's
Yeah.
an extra.
He's an extra.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We forgot about We Are Marshall.
We Are Marshall.
Good
Another
movie.
good one.
Yeah, good
There's a
one.
lot of football movies.
All right. I've exceeded my limit
It's
of
like it's
talking
good
movies.
drama or something. I don't know.
Little Giants.
Music and movies, you got to be careful.
Becky
We
the
can't
Icebox
go there.
O'Shea.
By the way, Eric Locke, our old buddy that worked here with us in the Action Sports Jax department, says, I cannot support you trying to pass Stu Gotts and quote the boys. I must have said Stu Gotts and the boys. So I should say Dan Lebitard and Stu Gotts. The Dan Lebitard show.
That guy took it personal, huh?
Eric didn't like that.
I say Lebitard hasn't been on our show, so
Well, that's
until
why
he
Stu
has,
Gotts
it's Stu
has
Gotts
called
and the
into
boys.
the show.
Yeah.
So he's it's the rest of them are the boys for now until Dan calls in too. Johnny also says the Apollos are going to practice at Camden, which is what we assumed.
Yeah, that
because
makes sense.
if you've ever been to Camden
It's a college
County,
facility.
it is it's basically a small college facility. Their weight room's unbelievable. Well, it was. I mean, I haven't been up there probably see their weight room maybe 5-6 years, but I mean, it's pretty incredible. You talk about that. I say there are 3 places in Jacksonville, maybe 4th. I'll give you 4 places in Jacksonville that feel a little Friday night lights.
Okay.
In my opinion, people may vary. It may vary. Camden, probably, to me, is number one. Lake City, Columbia, I think is another. Although I went out to Lake City, Columbia for the first time this year, and it was not as electric as I thought it was going to be, at least on that day. I have one example of it. It's so far away.
I've seen many where it has been that way.
Yeah, because we see the video, and I just picked the wrong game to go to.
Yeah.
It might not have been not a lot on the line. There must have been something else going on in town, but they live it and breathe it and love it. Baker County, I think, is another one.
Got the helmet in here.
We do have another one. And again, like when Baker County's cooking, it feels that way. Am I missing one more? I usually go with those three.
Yeah, to a lesser degree, maybe some of the other smaller towns like St. Aug can.
St. Augustine has that feel.
It can.
St. Augustine's small.
No, but like just the atmosphere at the football game.
But they love their high school football team, St. Augustine, man.
Cool.
And the tradition, and Joey Wiles built that up so good. But I will tell you this, if you're looking for crowds, you want to know an underrated place, St. Johns County has developed some great crowd. Ponte Vedra, that place is rocking on Friday nights. Creekside, and they have not even been good. Their stands are filled. The kids all go. I mean, it's a party on a Friday night.
Bartram student section,
and
one of the best.
Bartram too. I mean, there are so many good places. So don't get me wrong. This is not. We're just trying to get the feel of kind of more of the Friday night lights. And I think Camden takes the cake. I mean, they get up to 10,000 people there for a game on a Friday night, and they have not been very good in recent years. But when they're good, you can feel it.
They do, but none of it is actually like it was out in West Texas.
Well, I would imagine it's not.
Like it was in West Texas.
But we
I'll
always
say this,
compare it to that.
Yeah, you always do because that's what everybody knows. But I'll say this, the talent in Southeast Georgia and Northeast Florida is significantly higher than it was out there. Just because you're in the middle of nowhere, you don't have the talent. You
That's
don't have
true.
the people to draw from to make your teams.
I will tell you this, when I'm done and I retire someday and I don't have much to do, I wouldn't mind going to watch a high school football game out there and just drive out to the middle of nowhere, Texas.
Why don't you come to Wisconsin, man? I'll show you a good time.
Well, I'll do that too.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long trip from Texas, but I'll do it anyway.
It's a little bit of a drive.
But in Texas now, I mean, they're building $3 million facilities. I mean, it's unbelievable in the state of Texas. All right, we're getting way off track. Austin Brown? Antonio Brown or Odell Beckham Jr.? You said it's easy.
It's really easy if you ask me. You asking me right now who I'm taking?
I just did.
Let me think about it. No. Honestly, so let's talk about it. From a skill perspective, I'd say they're about the same. From an age perspective, one's 26 and one's 30 years old. So I'm going with the 26-year-old, Odell Beckham Jr. Welcome.
Simply that it? Because he's going into his prime?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
that's fair.
It's simply that. And you could argue Odell's had a couple injuries. He's still young. He's still the younger. They're both talented, but he's the younger talent. So I'm taking Odell.
They're both headaches, though.
Well, I was going to say that. That was going to be my tease question.
Both can
Who's
dance.
more of a pain in the ass?
It's a good question. They both are.
Dude, the way Antonio Brown's been acting, he's a bigger one for
Odell
sure.
Beckham on the sidelines? Antonio Brown's not usually that way on the sidelines in a game.
Yeah.
Once he's in,
Odell
he's
Beckham
in.
Jr. on the sidelines is a nightmare.
But with Beckham Jr., it's like he's throwing fits and like he's just causing tantrums. With Antonio Brown, he's like psychologically trying to like stick these like Ben Roethlisberger. Like he's psychologically like a sociopath almost.
Well, yeah, in this situation, he's kind of gone off the rails a little bit.
That's what I'm saying.
But I don't think like week to week we didn't talk Antonio Brown. I feel like in season we talk more Odell Beckham Jr. being a headache than we do Antonio Brown.
We were too busy talking about Le'Veon Bell with the Steelers mess than we were Antonio Brown.
Stuart, who are you taking, man? Who you got?
I might take Antonio Brown, honestly.
And what makes you just from being less of a headache, you think?
Yeah, I just feel like once he is committed to that team, he'll be committed for the good 3 years. I mean, however long you got him for. I feel like Odell, things will pop up through the course of that year.
You bring up a great point with the age.
Mm-hmm. And age is very important in the NFL.
Well, it is, but it also means it costs less potentially to get Antonio Brown. That's not how I phrased the question, but maybe it costs a little less, especially given some of his antics as of right now. I am not fully off Antonio Brown, even with all this garbage going on. I still think he changes your team. I don't think the Jags will even touch him. I mean, I just don't think they want that. They don't deal with that. I don't even think they're interested. But I think it's a mistake to not even look interested in Antonio Brown. I also don't think Odell Beckham Jr. is leaving New York.
I don't think so
I
either.
know Antonio Brown's leaving Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah, that's been announced.
Yeah. That's a done deal.
He's burning every single bridge on his way out.
Yeah, and might cost you a couple draft picks. I'll give you my third this year and next year's second.
For Antonio Brown?
Yeah.
Are you gonna stay with him and try to keep him in check, Brent? That might be your job.
You know what else I'm gonna do? I'm gonna throw my hands in the air every time he scores a freaking touchdown and gets a first down, and that will be a lot.
I give you 3 weeks before you get blocked by him. 3 weeks.
Balling and falling. Antonio Brown's balling. Austin Lane's falling. Next
Getting blocked
on
in
ESPN
3 weeks by
690.
Antonio Brown, Brent.
This is Golick and Wingo.
NFL insider Adam Schefter is with us. The Jacksonville Jaguars. Tom Coughlin comes out with this statement. Where do you think this is headed?
They're going to be exploring other avenues, with them being one of the most, if not the most disappointing team in football, starting at the quarterback position. They'll start there, and they'll branch out, and I would expect that they'll obviously discuss the idea of moving on from Leonard Fournette, as they will with other disappointing players there this offseason.
Golick and Wingo, weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
The 2019 Harrell and Harrell Performance Studio is here, and it's better than ever. It's your chance to meet the personalities on the new ESPN 690. Sit in the front row and ask your questions to athletes in town, sports analysts, and experts. You'll be able to see them in person. It's going to be the best year yet. So listen to ESPN 690 for your chance to win your way in throughout the year. It's the Harrell and Harrell Performance Studio. Brought to you by Harrell and Harrell.
Hi, it's Nathan from Gordon Chevy in Orange Park, where our no bull pricing and express sales process will have you out the door in a new Chevy fast. No bull means fast, fair, and transparent. It's what you can always expect at Gordon Chevy. And right now, take up to $10,000 off the 19 new body-style Silverado crew cabs and up to $12,000 off the 19 previous body Silverados. Only at the money-saving end of Blanding and online at GordonChevy.com. Chevy, find new roads.
Like, your lack of retention is a breathtaking thing that should be among the 7 wonders of the world.
I couldn't see the uniform through Devon's smoke.
The Dan Levitard Show with Stu Gatz. Weekdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Hey, it's Mike Golick from Golick and Wingo. You're listening to Action Sports Jacks with our friend Brent Martineau on ESPN 690.
I just got this text from Weber. He said, heading that way, meaning he was coming up to the studio. Do you want strawberry cake? Is there cake down the newsroom?
Yeah. February birthdays. Also, I'm forever scarred. I can never come having eaten food and not having offered other people the food. I didn't have to offer Austin this one, though, because I know he's in his training regimen. So no,
yeah, so thanks, man.
No strawberry cake. Yeah, so are you.
Okay. That nice magic
I still see the Cheez-Its, by the way.
Magic whiteboard, Brent versus 5-year-old Yankees fan.
I'm just saying, Brent.
Dana White, hey, bring it on.
You just tell me when. I'll make that phone call right now, set that fight up for you.
I will put that kid in an arm bar.
Once again, apologize to our sponsors and everybody listening. I'm embarrassed.
You should be. You got to, by the way, you got to hold down the look up.
What do you got?
You were too high on the magic whiteboard that time.
Well, if I had a spotter that would help me out, that'd be fantastic.
I know it. Listen, I love our place of employment. I really do.
Mm-hmm. I feel like the bomb's about to get dropped right now.
I think it's going to be.
I'm real nervous right now.
Anti-strawberry cake?
No.
Mind your P's and Q's,
the
Brent.
birthday celebration stuff.
Sure.
Okay.
Come on.
Dumb buttons ready.
Okay, thank you.
I mean,
you don't like the monthly birthday cake. The idea being that we cut down on people being excluded or included based on whether or not they were brought in a cake.
Yes.
So they just do a monthly cake for anyone whose birthday is this month.
You guys are a bunch of Debbie Downers, man.
Well, listen, this is part me, and I just think it's a little silly, but I also, I don't know if appreciate's the right word. I respect that people absolutely love their birthday.
Yeah, I could care less about mine.
But I just can't get there. Like, I don't understand it. Like, especially once you're got 21 and can pop that lid open.
Yeah, everything else is just whatever.
What else are we looking forward to here? I mean, okay, 50's a big one. I made it to 50. Great. So some of the milestone ones I'm all right with. But I just have never understood the birthday thing. People take days and days and days, and people can't stand working on their birthday. I just don't get the birthday thing.
No, I agree.
And so, again, I respect that you do. This is not a knock on you. I just can't come with you.
I actually have your back on that, especially like when it comes to social media. Like, I don't ever post like, oh, hey, I'm getting ready to go out. Oh, it's my birthday. Like, people are, trying to get like the happy birthday wishes and stuff like that. No.
It probably circles back to my Valentine's and Hallmark stand. You're right. I mean, again, you got to go buy a card. Like, I don't need a card on my 42nd birthday in May.
Mm-hmm.
It's May 25th, by the way.
Okay, well, let me ask you this then.
But I
just toss that in there.
I don't. But I don't need a card. You know what I mean? And my mom will send me like 3 of them. Thanks, Mom. Love you.
I don't send them to family members anymore.
You know, I mean, it's like
I'll give them a call.
I just don't get it. But again, I want you all to know that I respect that you love your birthday. If that's good, that makes you feel good. And I will say Facebook has become a fantastic thing for this. You do get like 5 million messages and hear from people. And I actually don't mind that thing that you hear from people that you probably haven't heard from in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like at first I was like, what is this? This is so stupid. Delete my birthday from here so people. But it's kind of nice to hear from people. I love Facebook. That and the memories do a pretty good job with.
What ticks me off, though, is when people wish me happy birthday on Facebook, but they spell my name wrong, like A-U-S-T-I. And I'm like, hey, man, we went to school together for 5, 6 years. Can you spell my name right, please? But I was go ahead, Stu.
That's like Brett over here.
Oh, yeah, everybody calls me Brett.
Okay. I remember that. Anyways, I was going to ask you, what are your thoughts about anniversaries? Like, I mean, are those something that you celebrate and get a card, or nope? Sorry, honey. I could care less.
Well, no, I mean, I guess at times, but mine's different. It's July 31st, so we're always in training camp, and so it's never
Except
like
for last year when you were
I wasn't
somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
But I don't celebrate it like that. But I mean, I get anniversary. That's why I think the Valentine's is stupid though, because you're already doing you got the anniversary to do that. Like, if you have to be reminded that you love your significant other and you want to show them that you love it with a card, flowers, whatever, well, that's the anniversary. The other times a year, do it when you feel is appropriate. So do it more. You shouldn't have to be reminded about it.
Mm-hmm.
I will say the thing I like about birthdays is, and this will come as a huge shock to you, Brent.
You get something for free.
Free
Coupons.
stuff. It's all about the free stuff on your birthday.
What are some of the best free stuff you can take advantage of here in Jacksonville, Stuart?
Firehouse subs.
Free sub.
Yeah.
Free sub.
Are we talking a 6-incher or a 12-incher?
It's their like 8-inch sub. It's their regular sized sub.
Okay.
Even better, you got Moe's. We'll get you a free entree, and you don't have to use it on your birthday. You can use it throughout the week.
The whole week.
Whole week.
Okay, I'm taking notes here. Keep going.
Anyone else?
I think there's some ice cream ones.
I actually
out
just
there
went
as
to.
well.
I just signed up. They have a new app on Smoothie King. Not even sponsored, but I still promote the heck out of Smoothie King.
I was gonna say you should get some money from them, man, because you're rocking those.
Tell them. But a new app,
get on that.
And they ask you your birthday in there, so I'm assuming they will do the same thing. They'll give you a coupon or something.
Oh yeah.
With it. So anyway. Hey, listen, happy birthday to everyone.
Beatenball's birthday tomorrow, by the way.
The other thing about you know what the one bad thing about the Facebook stuff is? I always feel bad. So when you wish somebody a birthday happy birthday on Facebook, do you say just happy birthday?
No.
Or does that feel empty?
No, personalize
because
it.
doesn't that feel kind of empty?
No.
Right? It's like happy birthday exclamation point.
If you
all
make
right, job done for the day.
Nope.
That doesn't feel like, hey, I really wanted to wish you a happy birthday.
If you make the attempt, you got to personalize it. Call them by a nickname or share a story or something like that, but you got to personalize it. Just saying happy birthday is the most mundane thing ever, and you can't do that.
That's a throwaway, right?
Our coworker, Leslie Corsi, does it best. She does like a personalized like meme picture.
Yeah. Oh, she's great with the memes.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot of effort.
Leslie steps up the game. Well, she cares.
Well, I'm not trying to spend an hour of my day, but okay. To each their own.
Ballin' and fallen. My fallen is birthdays. My ballin' is...
That's a great transition, man.
My ballin' is Pierre. Did you see the video?
Yeah.
I have not.
How about balling for the camera guy?
Yeah, no, my mom
camera guy
sent
took
this
the
video,
shot.
actually.
You see, I mean, that was unbelievable.
Centimeters.
Ooh, dog.
Fractions
It
of
hit the
centimeters.
camera guy.
Yeah, I know. Who cares about him?
You should care about the camera. That was probably a really expensive
That
camera
probably
that got
was.
broken.
But I mean, if you didn't see the video, go check it out. It's basically they slow-mo'd it, and the puck is right by his nose.
Yeah.
And you can see the rotations. They slowed it so much, and you can see the rotation of the puck. It's a great dramatic video, actually. It was a great job by NBC to get that out and push that out and tweet it the way they did. But I'm telling you, it looks so slow. Keep in mind, that thing was coming fast at him, and he's so lucky he didn't get it. And he is fantastic. I'm not a huge hockey watcher, but he's a fantastic analysts, sideline guy or side ice guy.
Yeah.
He does a great job, but he almost died last night.
Yes, it was insane.
He absolutely almost died.
Something to watch out for at Pucks and Pints. Can you tell us more about that, Austin?
Well, we were talking about that Pucks and Pints. Well, if you listen to the show for about an hour, you're going to hear me talk about it on the commercial break. So thanks for setting it up, Stuart.
Sure, yeah.
The story there is. By the way, we already.
Hey everyone, this is Austin from ESPN 690 and Action Sports.
That's fine.
Headphones are coming off.
See, he has to take the headphones off.
I
He
don't-
hates listening to himself.
Brian, I'm not sure if we're live because my headphones are off right now, but I'm not going to listen to myself for 2 minutes. Is it over?
It is.
Okay.
It is over. All right, jump back into the
Jax Sports Council.
Oh, hey, we're back.
Crew's taking care of business.
Oh, man.
Hey, when is it?
Wednesday, I believe.
I was going to hope you play through it.
Is everybody good?
It is
We
next
get
Wednesday.
the jokes
Next
out of the way?
Wednesday. Yeah, the jokes.
Well, I
done.
figured
Can we
if
keep talking some sports
If
on a
we're gonna
sports
talk
show?
Pucks and Pints, I figured we'd at least plug one more time when it is.
No, for sure. Ballin'. Oh, man. All right. So, Sports Illustrated's Ben Reeder sat down with Cleveland Indians starting pitcher Trevor Bauer. And in the article, it reveals 3 rules that girls must abide by when trying to date Trevor Bauer. Have you seen this? Have you seen the list?
No.
Stuart, seen
No,
the list?
I haven't seen it.
All right.
I
So
don't know, but Stuart's a list guy.
hey, well, this is a Sports Illustrated article. This is not out of I'm doing my job here.
Sure, yeah.
I'm just reporting what I saw. So the 3 rules to date Trevor Bauer. Number 1, 0 feelings. Trevor Bauer is not interested in feelings and is emotionally unavailable right now.
That'll go well.
And this is these are quotes, by the way. I'm not just
Sure.
making this up. This is an actual article. Okay. Number 2, no social media posts about me while we're together because private life stays private.
I like that.
Okay,
That's fair.
That's fair.
That's like what are those things called? Before you get married, do you have a lot of money?
Prenup.
Prenup, yeah.
Yeah. And number 3, well, I'm just laughing because number 3 is coming up. And number 3,
Get the dump button ready.
And I quote, I sleep with other people. You have to accept that. If you cannot, we cannot be together.
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
See, and this is just
that's about
casual dating. This isn't like looking for a relationship dating.
It said dating. See, to me, if you're dating somebody, you're in a relationship. That's how I feel.
It's blurry.
Like,
There's
going on a
blurred
date
lines, so to say.
Isn't a relationship. But if someone says, yeah, I'm dating somebody, that's a relationship to
Hey,
me,
listen,
at least.
well, you know what? I think Bauer put the ground rules out there.
Yeah,
It's
I
up
guess
to
so.
you, ladies.
I mean,
you signing up for it.
Usually you probably have to pay for those kind of ladies, but whatever. I mean, good for him. Can I say that?
You
I
can.
don't know, you
Okay.
just did.
All right, cool.
Hey, Nick Foles comes to Jacksonville. They're going to the Super Bowl, plus you're falling.
And my apology coming up next.
on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
I'm Aaron, and I am not the proud owner of the largest contract in sports history. As of today, that distinction belongs to one Manny Machado.
He is heading to the San Diego Padres a year after getting Eric Hosmer for $140 million. Strike first in this market. They get the 26-year-old Machado, a Gold Glove third baseman, a great shortstop, and add him to a nucleus that includes perhaps the best farm system in baseball.
So not only are the San Diego Padres stacked, but they grabbed the 26-year-old Machado for 10 years at $300 million, and he earned all of it. The 4-time All-Star hit $297 last year, 37 homers, 107 RBIs. It also looks like the end of a 2-year spending spree for the Padres, where the club's doled out $474 million over the last 2 seasons. Meanwhile, over in Pittsburgh, Steelers wideout Antonio Brown has reportedly met with team owner Art Rooney. Both men now saying parting ways makes the most sense. And finally, Tony Romo will play in his second PGA Tour event. He's accepted a sponsor's exemption to the AT&T Byron Nelson. Stream our radio station when you're not by a radio. Just go to ESPN690.com and hit the Listen Live button.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau of Action Sports Jax, and if you're considering buying a new car, I want you to go talk to my good friends at the new Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. They have raised the bar for customer service, and you'll be happy you went to Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. Their no-risk, no-pressure approach really sets them apart. Imagine buying a new Hyundai Santa Fe, but then thinking to yourself, maybe we don't need that much room in the family. Well, you could buy that new slick Hyundai Accent instead. And with Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville's no-risk, no-pressure approach, you could bring that Santa Fe back to the dealership in the first 7 days for your money back. No pressure whatsoever. Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville also offers a lifetime warranty that is good anywhere in the United States. The Hyundai you want, the service you deserve, all with Jenkins' exclusive lifetime warranty.
Do what my family did. Get a Hyundai and get it from Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. Go check out the showroom and visit them online at JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com.
Springtime is almost here. It's the perfect time to tackle the next job on your list. And AutoZone has the free services to help you do it. Like our free Fix Finder service. If your check engine light is on, our Fix Finder service can help troubleshoot the real problem, saving you time and money down the road. Want help from a pro? We can help with that too. Keep your engine running clean. Buy one STP Super Concentrated Fuel Injector Cleaner and get one free. Let us help you at more than 5,600 locations nationwide. Restrictions and details in store.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
It's time for some straight talk. Picture this. Your favorite team is playing. You're streaming the game. 10 seconds left. Your team shoots. Oops, your data runs out.
Look, don't let that happen. Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get 25 gigs of high-speed data, all on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks.
Join Team Straight Talk and get unlimited talk and text plus 25 gigs of high-speed data for just $45 a month.
Straight Talk Wireless, everything for less, only at Walmart.
First 25 gigs at high speed, then 2G. See terms at straighttalk.com.
The spread and that college-style offense. Listen, in 3 years, you might see the Big 12 be run by the NFL because it's the exact same kind of offense that's going on here.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Kevin Winter with Bryce Harper and Manny Machado. Having been free agents for so long this winter, there were calls of collusion among owners and franchises that no one wanted to pay that kind of money or give a contract of that length. Today, whoops, Manny Machado and the San Diego Padres agree on a 10-year deal worth $300 million. News first reported by ESPN's Jeff Passan.
Don't know if I'm going to call this an upset, but this is an upset. The Padres, a year after getting Eric Hosmer for $140 million, strike first in this market. They get the 26-year-old Machado, a Gold Glove third baseman.
Machado is expected to play third for a Padre team that has not posted a winning record in 8 consecutive seasons. That just leaves Bryce Harper as the biggest free agent fish out there. If you're thinking about attending Duke, North Carolina, tomorrow night at Cameron Indoor Stadium, man, you better break out your checkbook. According to ESPN's Myron Metcalf, the get-in price tomorrow night, minimum $2,500, and someone paid north of $10,500 to get in.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
You watch Action Sports Jacks on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
Now Action Sports Jacks is on your radio. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Here's your host, Brent Martineau.
Want some Players Championship tickets for the week? Go get them. The Captain's Club at the Players Championship weekly passes, a pair of tickets for you. In 3 weeks, when we talk about the Players Championship at TPC Sawgrass, you can win. Go to ESPN690.com. Go check that out and win some tickets to the Captain's Club at the Players Championship. 3 weeks out from the Players. A couple more commitments. Ricky Fowler included in the commitment list here on this day. Sergio as well. So a little fire. Remember, Sergio beat up a green in the last couple of months and got kicked out of a tournament. Disqualified from a tournament recently. A couple of other news and notes to tell you about Jags-related. Dom Capers, senior defensive assistant, 68 years old, reunited with Tom Coughlin, at least inside the building. Comes back. He was out of football last year. Kai Forbath, the Jags had signed him late in the season because Josh Lambo was hurt. They've since released him. And season ticket renewals underway. The Jags launched their 25th season. And their ticket renewal package, you can renew, I think, until March 29th is the date. So a lot of information out on the tickets on Jaguars.com. You can see more of that information, or on ActionNewsJax.com as well. Brent Martin along with Austin Lane, Action Sports Jack Stewart Weber in the studio with us, and Coos pushing all the buttons. Now I've made people feel bad about their birthdays, allegedly.
Oh, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Never a good thing. Josh says you're making me feel bad about not having a birthday this year. Sorry, man.
You didn't have a birthday this year?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
Might be a leap year, baby.
Could be.
That sucks.
Well, I shouldn't be making him feel bad. I should actually make him feel good. Maybe we should throw Josh a birthday.
There you go.
That's the guy that deserves a birthday party.
Okay.
Right?
Let's bring him in here.
If it skips.
If he's a leap year guy, yeah.
Yeah, now that I just said that, he might just claim that he's a leap year guy.
Because then he'd be like turning 8.
Any excuse to party, I'm for, Brendan. Let's throw him a party, but let's wait till after my fight, please.
And Duval Doom says, I know why Brendan's never attended one of my parties. Well, Johnny, I haven't been invited either. But I probably wouldn't have gone.
You wouldn't go.
No.
Working.
I'll go.
Here we go. Invite Austin Lane.
Yeah, I'll
believes
go.
in birthdays.
Heck yeah, man.
So do I, to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Oh, you got Fallen?
Yeah. Do I have to apologize, or are we good to go?
No, I think you're good.
Okay, cool. I'll save that apology for something else crazy.
At some point.
I had to apologize at the start of the show.
Fallen. Literally fallen. The kid that tried to set a screen on freshman national championship quarterback Trevor Lawrence. Have you seen the video, Brent?
No.
Yes.
So Trevor Lawrence is playing intramural basketball. Not really sure why Trevor Lawrence. Once again,
he's allowed to.
The national championship QB freshman Trevor Lawrence playing intramural basketball. Sweeney might want to get on that one. Somebody tried to set a pick on him at half court, and the retaliation was Trevor got ticked off and actually pushed the kid to the ground and threatened, and kind of flexed over him a little bit and stuff. I thought Trevor Lawrence was like this, holy be all, what would Jesus do? Well, Jesus would not push somebody down after setting a screen on him. So Trevor Lawrence, man, I get it. I don't like getting screens set on me either. But just go through the kid. Don't push him down in retaliation.
Come on, man.
And why are you playing intramural basketball?
So technically, isn't the kid fallen?
That's what I said. Yeah, the kid.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Yep. No, you're good.
Yeah.
But also Trevor. It wasn't a good look for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
But I guess he's got a little spunk in him. Good for him. Yeah, he's got a little fire.
Listen, man, you can play cards. You should get angry and be competitive. Monopoly, Pictionary.
I mean, Brent, you see me play darts before, and I don't like to lose. So
that's true.
No problems over there.
I've been a little disappointed in the dart game. It's got it in the office, and I haven't played very much. We were in Daytona a lot.
I haven't lost yet on the dartboard.
No, you haven't. I'm practicing.
Sounds like a challenge.
Kevin Stryker chimes in. Haskins probably gone at 7. I don't want any free agent quarterback to begin with. Take BPA at 7 if you can't trade down. I'd take less than value to trade down to. Tight end from Iowa in round 1. Will Greer in round 2. Get him more weapons, blocking rest of the draft. All right. The question, I have 3 different questions out there. Antonio Brown or Odell Beckham Jr. Also have, is there any guy we're missing in the free agent market from a veteran standpoint other than Nick Foles that you would feel comfortable with and say, hey, you know what? I don't need to take the quarterback, the young QB at number 7. And I think most people say no. Kevin just said, yeah, that's okay. I'm going to take Will Greer in round 2. I don't know and he didn't want the free agent quarterback to begin with either. They are getting a free agent quarterback. I mean, it's just a matter of what level guy they get, whether they take a risk on a Bradford, whether they take Bridgewater and see some upside in him, and if not, it's a reasonable cost. So whether they take a Fitzpatrick or a Keenum, or whether they go get a Foles.
So no chance they go draft a guy and have Cody Kessler be the backup.
I really don't think that's a chance. Because here's the reason I don't think they do that, Stuart, and it's a good question. I think people have asked.
Because people forget about Cody Kessler, being here.
And being terrible, yes.
Oh, wow.
Well, in all due respect to Cody Kessler, he had nothing around him either. I mean, it's the same thing. So you couldn't function in that offense. Nobody could in the last 6 weeks. But they also know that's not the answer.
It's not.
And I think it's a good question. I think people have asked, but you've got to remember what comes first in this process, and that's what's tricky. It's not like they all come at the same time.
In the draft.
Free agency comes first. So the Jags do a good job of this in the past, but if I'm the Jags, I don't want to just ride with Cody Kessler, and then that tips my hand that I need to go get Haskins. Because then if you want to trade or whatever, well, now people know you need it. Yeah. And you're going to tip your hand. I mean, if they keep Kessler, that's the only guy they got on the roster going into the draft. We all know what they're doing. So they can't do that. Now, they could keep Kessler on board, get a mid-level guy, and then still come up with a quarterback and then cut Kessler. But I just don't think they're going to do it the other way around. It wouldn't make a lot of sense from the Jags from a strategic point of view.
And from a backup quarterback position, we always talk about, well, is he talented enough to be a backup? I mean, if he goes in, does he have the talent? And talent is important, but a thing that we always neglect too is the fact, can he work with the guy, with the guy coming in? You know, like, can he groom a young first-round pick coming in? Like, for instance, Tyrod Taylor, you saw in Hard Knocks, was pretty open. I mean, he was the starter, but he was still great to Baker Mayfield in the fact that he helped Baker any questions that he had. I mean, this is what we saw in Hard Knocks. Maybe in the locker room it was different.
Nah, those guys all seem to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is always a fascinating dynamic to me, because they're competing nose to nose, yet they support each other most of the time in the QB rooms.
Exactly. So another great question to ask too is, if we don't bring in Foles and we bring in maybe like a Fitzpatrick, a Bridgewater, a Tyrod Taylor, you have to ask yourself, can those guys work with a young rookie quarterback?
Well, that's a great question too. Go down that list. I think there's a really good chance they end up with Bridgewater. I would put a question mark next to Bridgewater working with a young guy. Does he have enough?
He's never really had the experience,
right?
Yeah.
Well, it's not that he's not going to work with him. I'm saying, is that knowledge base? What's he going to teach him? Yeah. Now, Fitzpatrick, fantastic in that role, right?
Yeah.
How to grow a beard.
Yeah. I mean, dude, and he's been in a lot of systems.
Would be good in that role. Been through a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Been a lot of different places, seen a lot of different coaching, could give a lot of good tips, you would think.
On what not to do.
Yeah, and Tannehill's interested me. I don't know if he could. Tannehill, I probably put in the Bridgewater class, where I'm not sure.
He's got more years on him, though.
Again, these guys can help. I'm just saying the level of helping a young kid.
That's what I'm getting at.
And so that's a great point you bring up.
They always said that Henny was such a great help, and what did he draw from in order to help show the way when he was doing it?
That's a good point. Now, he had a couple of different chances at starting and failed. That's fair, though. He didn't have a ton of game experience, but I do think he really helped Blake. I mean, from a comfortability standpoint, and I think just, again, knowledge-wise.
Henny
different levels of this,
his arm throwing motion. Like the backup quarterback's job is not to say, "Oh, hey, you're kind of throwing a little hitch in your arm when you throw the football." Like, that's not his job.
No, I think
his job is to get him mentally ready.
Yeah. If you ask Blake Bortles right now about his good 2008-17, about that good run, I think he would credit Henny with some of that. You know, he's always kind of credited anyway, but that's a good call. So, did the Jags tip their hand if they get a Fitzpatrick? Right?
Oh, without a doubt.
By saying we are all in.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that's been in how many different teams, different systems and whatnot, and it seemed like when Jameis came in, he helped out pretty well.
Yeah,
you know?
So they definitely, like Bridgewater and Tannehill, you get one of those guys, we'll argue. If they get one of those guys in March, we'll argue for the next month whether they're going QB at number 7. Now, I still think they do, but we'll argue they do. If they get Fitzpatrick, they definitely are. Right? And then again, it comes back to Foles. And Kuz, before we get to a timeout, let's play Foles. If the Jags get him, one man thinks they might go to the Super Bowl. Listen to this.
Foles is, yeah.
Is there a team out there that you think he could put over the hump?
I think if he goes to Jacksonville, they're Super Bowl contenders. And I think that John DeFilippo's down there. He was with him in Philadelphia, so he's going to have a comfort level with that system. John's going to want to bring a guy like that in that understands his system. But I think that with that defense, I think last year in Jacksonville just got tired of being on the field. And I think that they went through a lot of issues. You know, Blake Bortles was trying to play. Inconsistency there at quarterback was tough. So I think you bring in a guy like Nick Foles, he starts running John's system, they start scoring some points, that defense plays better. That team could be a lot better, than they were last year.
Well, I think that last part is right on the money by David Carr on NFL Network saying, yeah, if he goes to Jacksonville, they could be a lot better. I don't know if I agree with the first part. I don't know if they are Super Bowl contenders with Nick Foles. You have to give me a lot of other things around on that offense.
That's a lot better.
It's continued to be what people are missing. There's nothing else other than Leonard Fournette in the backfield, people.
Yeah.
It's a lot of unproven stuff.
Tommy Bohannon's back there. I mean, touchdown Tommy.
I'll give you D.D. Westbrook if you want. But that's it. So when we come back, more on Foles. How much better does Foles make this team? Super Bowl contenders? Does anybody think it? I don't. Next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Before the surgery, there's a lot of pain. Every time I would swim in a swim meet or any type of race or anything, I was like hunched over in pain.
Stetson Lane talks about her experience with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
And then after the surgery, I'm back to doing everything I used to do, and so I feel great now. I would definitely go back to Southeast Orthopedic. They really made me feel like I was welcomed and at home.
Get your body moving again with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Find out more at se-ortho.com.
The President's Day sale at Arlington Toyota has been extended. This is your chance to put more presidents back in your pocket all month long at Arlington Toyota. Arlington Toyota has over 1,000 new and used on the lot every day, and they're discounted now with President's Day savings. Talk about saving some presidents. Right now, you can buy a 2019 Corolla LE from just $14,888. That's a pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE from just $14,888. If you want a crossover SUV with some serious style, then you got to get a Highlander. And right now, during the President's Day sale at Arlington Toyota, buy a 2019 Toyota Highlander from just $28,988. That's a pre-owned 2019 Highlander from just $28,988. Arlington is all about putting you behind the wheel, and that includes their new free iPreCheck service powered by TransUnion. It's the easy way to check your real credit without affecting your credit score. No Social Security number required. Save some presidents now at the Arlington Toyota President's Day sale extended through the end of the month. 10939 Atlantic Boulevard or online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau. If you've received a letter from the IRS and can't pay them, things can get bad quickly. The IRS can seize your bank account, garnish your wages, and place liens against everything you own. If this is you, contact J. David Tax Law, a local firm right here in Jacksonville. Your first step to stop IRS harassment is a no-cost consultation. They explain exactly your options and how they will resolve your tax issue. Only highly experienced tax attorneys will represent you, and fee payment plans are affordable for everyone. Get the protection you deserve. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away. The fastest way to get started is to call 904-507-4777. 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com. The number again, 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com.
If Dell Demps had moved Anthony Davis as general manager for the New Orleans Pelicans, he would have been fired. You know, you had teams in smaller markets on the phone calling him, imploring him not to capitulate to the demands.
The Stephen A. Smith Show, weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Hey, it's Trey Wingo from Golic & Wingo. You're listening to Action Sports Jax with our friend Brett Martineau.
Hey, the JU-FSU baseball game postponed till tomorrow. If you're just catching in on that and planned on going over, I think you probably might look outside and wonder. But inclement weather moving the game till 6 o'clock tomorrow, and that means it's a busy day on the JU campus.
Huge triple header coming up for them.
Yeah, softball.
Softball against the Florida Gators, number 4 in the country. That's at 5 o'clock. Then you got the FSU baseball game at 6 o'clock. And then you got the Rumble at historic Swisher Gym, 7 o'clock, UNF and JU. By the way, tonight, if you were planning on going to a little baseball, go out to a little high school girls basketball instead. We got playoffs, round 2 of the playoffs tonight. 4 all local matchups, including one that I'll be live at 6:50 on Fox 30.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Bishop Kenny, as the Crusaders will be playing host to Ribault.
All right, good deal.
Last time they played went to triple overtime, so should be another tight one tonight.
All right, I like it. Cool. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. What do we have coming up? Do we have some response? By the way, Duval Doom's excited that you'll go to his birthday party.
Me?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he's into that.
Yeah, let's go.
So you might get an
Healthy
invite.
snacks needed, though.
Well, depending when his birthday is. If it's after March, let's go to Lemon Bar. We can go to Chuck E. Cheese. We can go to a lot of spots, man.
Did you see Chuck E. Cheese made an appearance on the Barstool, the pizza guy?
Because of the conspiracy, right?
Yeah, because of the conspiracy. So there's a conspiracy that Chuck E. Cheese is just, if you don't finish all your pizza, they take the slices that you didn't finish and other people didn't finish and cobble them together into one pizza for the next people.
Yeah, which would be a smart thing to do.
Gross, but smart.
I feel like it's not, I was going to say, probably not allowed.
Anyhow, so the guy who does the pizza reviews, which is the Barstool
Dave
Presidente
Portnoy,
guy,
yep.
right? He went to...
You guys know, you knew that?
He went in Melbourne, too.
He
went
was
down
in
here.
at the Super Bowl.
He's the guy who got kicked out of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he got kicked out.
Because he didn't have a credential.
And he went to the Chuck E. Cheese, like, down here in Florida.
Yeah, in Melbourne. It was so much so locally that the Icemen said, hey, if you're still in town, we got seats for you if you want to come to a game. I don't know if it was for Pucks and Pints or a different game. Might have been a different
It's
game.
probably Pucks or Pints.
Should I play it again?
No, we're good, man.
I
We're all
think we're
good.
You don't have to ask. Don't ever
so
have to ask.
he went to Chuck E. Cheese and he did the pizza review, gave him a 6.
Out of 10. That's not bad.
That's not bad. He said it actually wasn't that bad.
Chuck E. Cheese ain't bad pizza.
6 out of a 10.
Pizza review guy.
I watched him once do a pizza review for like 4 or 5 different like oven baked pizzas, like Elio's and DiGiorno and stuff like that. Oh, he hated all of them.
Did he?
Oh,
So
He
he's
also did one in Jacksonville.
He did at
Did you see the
Biggie's.
Jacksonville? Yeah, Biggie's.
Did he go to Biggie's?
And of course, there's a guy in the laundromat next to him with his like shirt off that might be on drugs.
Oh,
So
well,
like,
and he gave
moment
Biggie's.
there.
He gave Biggie's a 5 something.
Yeah,
so
it
Chuck
was.
E.
Chuck E.
Cheese
Cheese
is
beating
even
it.
wow.
Chuck E. Cheese is better than Biggie's.
We gotta check him on
according
that.
to Barstool.
One bite, everyone knows the rules.
So he's critical?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He does it like one every day. Like he like now
One
at least
nibble, everyone knows the law.
he kind of
How much do you think that guy gets paid?
All the money, because like it's obviously it's a big brand. I mean, you've heard of Barstool. Everyone's heard of Barstool. I'm sure he makes bank.
Yeah, shoot. More than me, probably.
Yep.
Which is sad.
I know, Brent, I'm sure it's one of those things where if you actually saw the number, you would probably be sick to your stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
mean,
proud to ask
listen,
that question.
hey, I'm not if you're making a lot of money, good for you. I was just curious. I was just like, guy gets hired to go taste test pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Got to get him over to V Pizza over here. That's my
Oh,
spot.
they podcast and stuff. Like that's not his sole purpose.
Yeah, he does other stuff too.
Okay, I got to pay attention. to
Content
Barstool.
creation, you know?
Well, they are good at it.
Yeah.
They do create.
For the most, yeah,
And manipulate.
They do create a lot of stuff. So it's funny. The whole reason I never got into Barstool right away was because the whole Blake Bortles interview with that girl.
Yeah.
Like I watched that whole video and I'm like, this is like I didn't know what Barstool was at the time. So like I saw that video, I'm like, no, absolutely not. I hate Barstool. And then I figured out they do other stuff as well. But like that Blake Bortles interview killed it for me. Like it was so bad.
Well, that's the thing about Blake. It's like Blake's hilarious on that stuff.
Blake was great. The girl, I couldn't stand the girl. Sorry, I don't know who the girl is or anything. Don't want to.
Blake's hilarious on that. But we said this during Super Bowl week. It's like, yeah, that's kind of why he's can't be like the franchise QB in a way. Like your franchise QB doesn't go on Barstool. Who else does it? Am I missing somebody that's good that does it? I mean, who?
I think Edelman does stuff with
Yeah,
Barstool,
but he's
doesn't
Not
he?
the quarterback.
Not the quarterback.
He ain't
You're
the
right.
face of
Like
the
Gronk
franchise.
can do that stuff.
Yeah.
Like you can have guys
Sure.
do that stuff, but your
Sure.
quarterback doesn't.
Yeah, and it's like you ever saw Peyton Manning even on Twitter. You know, Tom Brady's not on
And
Twitter.
listen, I won't even
Even Saturday
compare
Night
to
Live, at
that.
least Peyton Manning did.
True.
But that's a little more classier than Barstool. When you're
Yeah,
pegging,
there's a
pegging
difference.
children with a football and telling them to go and get in the portalet, it's a little different. Than
I just think it fits.
Yeah.
Listen, I defended Blake for a long time. It just fits the equation a little bit. It's like, okay, that's one of the it's not like that's the reason he didn't succeed.
No, of
But it's
course
just
not.
like it doesn't add up to that guy doing that. And it's kind of what we say about Kyler Murray a little bit. You got to be all in on that position. So much so that, again, you're the CEO of the football team, of the roster on that position.
Yep.
Was that not the big concern with Baker Mayfield coming out?
There was that, yeah. But and especially after
still
Johnny
being too
Manziel,
determined.
right?
Yeah, sure.
So I think, it's an immeasurable type of thing. It's really hard. Like those interviews are so big because it's hard to gauge like that part of it, and that's why I still believe when we talk about QBs, you need accuracy, you need arm talent, right? You need this, you need that. I think a little mobility, but then you need that something that's different. And what is that? Like again, in Russell Wilson's case, he's a good leader. Right? I mean, he's just this guy that can rally the troops and did at a young age, and people respected him, and he could command a room, and whatever that is, it's sometimes hard to explain, but you need to be able to do it. Maybe for Baker Mayfield, he's going to be successful because he's got so much swag that it's just like, I don't care if I'm a little undersized. I don't care if you hit me in the mouth. I'm going to come back and I'm going to throw 2 touchdowns on you. There's just a different level of competitive spirit to that guy maybe that separates him. And that might not be the case, but that might be it that helps Baker Mayfield.
And Baker definitely plays with the chip on his shoulder, too. I remember when they played the Bengals a couple times, and Hugh Jackson was on the Bengals as like a defensive, I think, assistant or something like that, and obviously used to coach with the Cleveland Browns. And then Mayfield, after the game, after they beat him twice, was like kind of staring at him and staring him down and whatnot and kind of being cocky towards him. Listen, I think if you do it the right way, I think players respond to that. Players don't be like, that's my quarterback. Like, he has a little cockiness to him. He has a little confidence to him. He's got a little, I don't know what you even call it, a little moxie, I guess you would say. So, yeah, but there's a fine line between having too much and just being a distraction, and riding that line as a great quarterback.
Well, and that brings us to Nick Foles. So we just got off the David Carr comments on NFL Network talking about, hey, this puts the Jags in the Super Bowl mix if they go get Foles. Where does it put the Jags? I think that's a little extreme. I'm not sure what people would say, but to me, that's a little extreme. Where does it put the Jags? If they do get Foles, and they're going to make some other moves. They're going to get people in the draft. They're going to get a tight end. They're going to get a wide receiver. I don't know who that person is, but they're going to get him. They're going to do some mid-level free agency stuff. I mean, maybe do they make a run at Golden Tate? Who knows? But Nick Foles coming here, what does it change and how drastically does it change 2019 for the Jags?
I think it puts him right back at the top of the division, which puts you battling for the division title. And I think that when you say is a Super Bowl contender, to me, if you make the playoffs, you're a Super Bowl contender.
Well, that's fair. That's fair.
If you're one of 6 teams, you're a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, but there are Super Bowl contenders that say, yeah, they don't really have a shot to win the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like they have a shot to win the Super Bowl.
Houston Texans this past year, no one was, saying the Texans were going to the Super Bowl.
It didn't feel like, not with those few teams in the mix, but I get your point. I think it's a good point. If you get in the dance, right now getting in the dance is the goal of 2019. Forget about the rest because it is a bit of a crapshoot.
Well,
so get in the dance.
It's tough in the division, too, when you consider that over the last 2 years, all 4 teams in the division have made the playoffs.
Crazy.
It's wild.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's pretty spread out who's going to take it.
They all think that, too. They all think that they can make it, too.
Okay, so 5-11 with a lot of injuries. You got to give some of these losses to injuries. I don't know how many people give to injuries, whether it's 2, whether it's 4, whether it's 1. But some of those losses, when you have 16 offensive linemen and you lose Marquise Lee and you don't have Fournette most of the year, I don't care. You can't put all these losses on Blake Bortles. So, even the defense didn't show a game or two. So how many games do they win just by adding that QB spot?
Well, I think Carr made a great point in saying how the offense and defense works together. He said that the defense was getting tired because the offense kept going 3 and out and whatnot, and he couldn't be any more right. There were times, when Gabbert was in, and as a defense, you take pride in, stopping the team and going 3 and out and stuff like that, and it's fun. And as a defensive guy, you want to be out there, playing defense, obviously. You don't want to sit on the bench, but there is something to be said when you stop them 3 and out, the offense goes out, it's 3 and out, and you're right back out there again. I don't want to say it crushes your confidence, but it's like, come on, guys, we're doing our job. You guys kind of pull your weight a little bit too. So I feel like that's what happened in the defense this year. The defense was still playing some pretty good football, but their offense wasn't helping them out at all, and it goes hand in hand. So assuming Foles comes in and gets that offense even kind of rolling. I mean, we don't need a miracle worker here. We need a guy that can hand off to Fournette, and we need Fournette to, show up this year as well. And then we need a guy to occasionally hit a 3rd and long or like a 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. If you can do that with our defense, we're going to win some games. So Super Bowl contention's a little, I don't want to say Super Bowl contention right now because we don't have the pieces in place to say that, especially in our division where Houston's still pretty good. All of a sudden, the Colts out of nowhere with Andrew Luck have found a resurgence, and they're playing very well. So to say we're Super Bowl contenders, I can't get on that bandwagon right now, but obviously it's going to be an improvement.
Yeah, I am not. Here's where I stand on the Foles stuff. I feel like it gets lost. You got to go back a few weeks to when we were first talking about it. I'm really concerned that once he gets out of Philly, he's not going to be great.
I mean, it's not like he was that great. He's played in other places, too. He played for the Rams a little bit and spent some time in Kansas City.
But Rams people peg on not only Fisher, but also his desire a little bit. He kind of lost the love. He got rejuvenated. He had 26 touchdowns, 2 interceptions prior to that in Philadelphia. Then he comes back and goes to a Super Bowl. Now, I mean, there's a resume there he's got 3 bullet points on that resume, 26-2, Super Bowl, and then this year's run that are pretty damn impressive.
So did Matt Castle from the Patriots who went to Kansas City. How'd that pay out? Well, that was just one season.
It 1 bullet point.
But
this guy's got 3 different. The problem for me is it's with Philly all the time, and I think he was in such a good situation with Peterson. Well, DiFilippo, can he help that?
How much is DiFilippo, yeah.
So, you know where I stand on it. I don't mind Foles. I think he's your best option. You know why I think he's your best option? Because then you don't have to be stuck taking quarterback in the first round at 7. If my job depended on it, I don't want to have to play a rookie quarterback in 2019. So I'd rather take my chances with a guy who's got 3 bullet points on his resume and then go get him help in the draft immediately. And a guy that can contribute and you can, I'm not sure bank on is the right word, but you maybe have more faith than you do in a young quarterback, which always is a 50-50 proposition, especially in year number 1. When we come back, we got a lot of comments on this. We'll take you through that. We also have some hot takes to get to. That's coming up along the way. And I did want to pass along that if you missed it, Dom Capers coming back to Jacksonville, senior defensive assistant. Kai Forbath let go. Jags are only about a couple $1 million over the cap now, so once they clear Malik and maybe a Parnell or Blake, whoever else, we'll see what happens with their cap number as things start to get set for the middle of March when the new league year begins in the NFL. Hang with us, some hot takes and your takes on the whole Foles situation next on ESPN 690.
Peace of mind. It's one of the most important things we can have and sometimes the most elusive. I'm Eli Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. If you've been injured as a result of someone else's negligence, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000.
Office in Jacksonville.
I'm Josh Scobie, proud supporter of the Guardian Catholic Schools, where we believe that every child deserves access to a quality faith-based education. For over 22 years, Guardian Catholic Schools have served as a critical, high-impact presence within Jacksonville's educational landscape. From our highly acclaimed Early Learning Center and K-8 classrooms, every student is prepared with critical thinking skills and confidence as our educators build a foundation for their lifelong success. In fact, more than 90% of our alumni go on to graduate high school, higher than our local and state average. All students attending Guardian Catholic School receive some level of financial assistance. Regardless of where they begin, we know that all children can be successful. For more information on how you can help protect the potential of these bright students, visit guardiancatholicschools.org or call 904-765-1920 to schedule a tour. Guardian Catholic Schools, protecting potential.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martin of Action Sports Jacks here to talk to you about my good friends, the new Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. They built this new dealership from the ground up, and they did it with you in mind, and it's a beautiful facility. Their focus is getting you into the car you want at an affordable price, and that's where their no-risk, no-pressure approach comes in. If you buy a vehicle from Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville and you're not 100% satisfied with your purchase, you can bring the vehicle back within the first 7 days for your money back. The Hyundai you want, the service you deserve, all with Jenkins' exclusive lifetime warranty. You can drive a Hyundai. Put a Hyundai in your family like we have in our family. And take it from me, my friends at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville will treat you right. Go check out the showroom. Visit them online at JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com. The Hyundai you want, the service you deserve, all with the Jenkins exclusive lifetime warranty. Make sure you tell them Brent from Action Sports Jacks sent you.
Sports Center updates at the top and bottom of every hour. And the latest breaking news in sports around the clock. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. This is ESPN 690.
You watch Action Sports Jacks on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
Now Action Sports Jacks is on your radio. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Here's your host, Brent Martineau.
The magic whiteboard.
Careful. No lifeguard on duty for this one.
I like this one.
All right, go ahead and hit it with it.
Clapping is just hitting yourself because you like something.
True, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't argue.
Yeah. They're playing basketball out there. Wondering what the noise was.
Yeah. Well, you were louder than them last commercial break.
I usually am. Oh, was I really?
Yeah, you were pretty loud.
Because that was the
Did
sound
you
of
throw down a dunk?
No, I was hitting Antoine fadeaways, actually, and I made 2 of them in a row. Ask Coos, he was there. He saw it.
I was hot last night on the on Ty's Nerf hoop. I was hitting it. Sometimes when you go on the Nerf hoop with that, the little hoop like we have in here, and then the Nerf ball, which is really light.
Yep.
I mean, it feels like you've never shot before in your life. Sometimes it's really awkward.
Well, yeah, it just doesn't feel right.
But then sometimes you get in a rhythm and a groove.
Yep.
And like I made 3 out of 4 at one time.
A little flick of the wrist. 3 out of 4. You're really going to brag about 3 out of 4, huh?
Well, I made 3 out of 4. That's pretty good. I mean, I was like
75%, I think.
18 feet away.
Okay, that's not bad.
That's pretty good with a Nerf, man.
That ain't bad. It's better than Ray Allen did.
And then I made one the other day from the bottom of the stairs. You got to go all the way down the bottom of the stairs, throw it up over, and I made one. And that took about 15 tries.
Sure.
But I'll beat you in horse, man.
I feel like those videos of people like shooting the crazy baskets kind of died out, huh? You don't really see a lot of those anymore.
Yeah, I guess you don't see as much.
Was that Dude Perfect?
So
I think,
was it real or
they
was it
got
edited?
a show, don't they?
Was it real or was it edited? How many of them were edited?
Well,
I mean,
here's
I'm
the
sure
thing. You see the one that went in.
like
How
a
many
million
times
takes.
did they try? No, dude, perfect. I think they're on Nickelodeon now. Like, I think they're still a thing.
Kuz just knows everything.
I tell you, my kids will watch that stuff. Like, you talk about YouTube, go click on that.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
It's fun to watch. It's kind of mesmerizing at times.
You've seen one, you've seen them all. Whatever.
I don't know. They got to a point where they were like taking medicine balls and like swinging a car into it and hitting it and like making a like large basketball.
Yeah.
And
Feels like you might run out of ideas.
Yeah, it gets to like that. Like they're hitting a ball with a car like half a football field to go in a basketball hoop, and it's like, all right, at this point.
It reminds me, did you guys ever get into Epic Mealtime back in the day?
No.
Epic Mealtime was the biggest thing going into like training camp. My second year in Jacksonville, like we used to always watch in the locker room. It was basically just guys from Canada that would make like these crazy, monstrous, just like things of food. So like, if you have some free time, type in Epic Mealtime and look up like fast food lasagna. They go like to McDonald's, Wendy's, and everything. They buy like $500 worth of fast food and make a giant lasagna out of it.
Ah, very good. All right, hey, back to some football talk. Oh, wait, I got to ask one more thing about burgers.
Okay.
The best one of those, the great crazy shots.
Oh, yeah.
Was the commercial with Magic and Bird. Like, that was kind of the dawn of it. When the McDonald's commercial. You got to go look it up. You guys are too young.
I mean,
but it was
I even born yet?
I think it was Magic and Bird. It could have been Jordan and Bird. I know Bird was in it.
Oh, no, it was Jordan and Bird.
Was it Jordan?
Yeah, it was
and it
Michael
was from
Jordan.
McDonald's, right? Like a burger or Big Mac or something. And it's like off the window,
I do remember that.
But that was
one.
like the birth of those kind of. I'm pretty sure they were probably inspired by that along the way, and then you started seeing all these crazy. Well, it wasn't like right after you started seeing the crazy shots, social media and YouTube and all that's really the birth of it. But to me, that was my first recollection of kind of crazy plays.
Yeah, there was another one too with like Powerade like years later with LeBron James did one where he was hitting like 20 half-court shots in a row, and then there's like a Michael Vick one where he throws out of the stadium and stuff. So yeah, I remember those commercials.
It's always fun, and it shows for those guys. It shows off their athleticism.
Well,
like
yeah,
it's real
but
believable.
It's believable, but it's not true. But
I know some of them, but it's so these guys. I still don't know if it's believable.
No, for sure.
How long do they stand? Has anybody ever on the Dude Perfect stuff really said how long does it take to get one?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a write-up on it or something. But
days. It's ridiculous.
How about this? Tom Pelissero just tweeted a while ago, I guess. The Jaguars make a lot of sense as a landing spot for Nick Foles in free agency, but would they trade for him? The way they're constructed suggests they may wait this out. And Charlie Pitts just brought that up and said, hey, Brent, sounds like something I heard on the ride home, which means he was probably listening to the show. And Charlie, I didn't get it from Tom. I'm just seeing this tweet from Tom. But I agree with Tom. So I think, again, it goes back to would they trade for Foles? I think if the Eagles franchise, I think the percentages of the Jags getting Foles goes way down. That's why these next 2 weeks are really important. I think if you're in the Foles hunt or keeping an eye on it. And I know you disagree with me a little bit. You think that still could happen. And you might be right. But I'm probably right.
I mean, have the Jaguars really had a lot of success in the third round making draft picks?
Actually, they've had some pretty good ones. Brandon Linder.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yannick Ngakoue.
Okay, yeah, so they've actually had a lot of success. Well, I'm trying to think, like, obviously
when
the first rounders aren't the...
Smith.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like the first rounders have been kind of, I mean, Jalen Ramsey, obviously.
Yeah, I'm sure you could go down the list. There's probably even more, but I know those two come to mind, Linder and Yannick Ngakoue.
So,
well, here's the deal. When it comes to the draft, the top 4 rounds, most GMs and staffs look at as starter potential.
Correct.
So if you have you're giving up a potential starter, then to trade away for whatever you're trading away for. That's why giving up a 5th round pick is looked at, well, okay. Or a 6th round, 7th round is obviously more of a crapshoot anyway.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll cut, if your team's good enough, you'll cut a 6th or 7th round pick. Sometimes a 5th rounder, but that's a little bit more unusual. Josh Watson says, why do most think Jags can't make it with a rookie when they were a call away with Bortles? I'd take Haskins rookie over Bortles. Yeah, that's good. Here's why they don't think that. Because a lot of people discredit the Bortles and Jags AFC Championship run now because of what happened last year. And we're now in the mindset of, instead of looking at last year and saying, wow, there were all these injuries and that's why they weren't as good with Bortles, people are more like, everything went perfect in 2017. That's why they got there.
It was a fluke.
It was a fluke. And to be honest with you, it's what I've said about this whole situation regarding Marone and Caldwell and Coughlin is I really don't know which one is which. And I don't think Shad Khan knows which one is which. I think you take 2017, same group of people or similar group of people, you go to AFC Championship game. Was that the fluke? I don't know. You go the next year, you go 5-11 and everybody gets hurt. Was that the fluke? Well, I think that's what 2019 is a little bit about. They're going to make the change at QB, but they kept the front office intact to say, which one was the fluke? If the Jags collapse again in 2019, everybody's out.
See, in my opinion, it wasn't a fluke. If you want to call anything a fluke, it was the fact that Leonard Fournette got hurt, and that was the fluke because they couldn't win games without Leonard Fournette. And say what you want about him, but he did lead him to that AFC Championship game that year. And this past season, he gets hurt, and what happens? Yeah, they don't do that well. So is there a correlation between, hey, maybe Leonard Fournette's really, really important? Maybe the running game is super important. Maybe Leonard Fournette should get a little more credit for what he did that year. Maybe.
Yeah, he's a hard guy to give credit to right now because he's a very unlikable character in Jacksonville, but I don't disagree with you one bit. I think people lose sight of just how valuable and how important Fournette was to that run, to the point where when we talk Watson and Mahomes and all these other guys that the Jags could have had, I just have to always remind people, and you may disagree with me, but I think more people agree than disagree, that the Jags don't go to the AFC Championship game in 17 with one of those guys. They did go with Fournette, and Fournette was a big reason why. Now, for the next 10 years, who would you rather have had?
Obviously,
I get
quarterback.
it. I get it. But if you enjoyed the ride to the AFC Championship game, to me, Fournette helped change this football team.
I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, Brent, especially when it comes to the playoffs. If you can stop the run, if you can run the ball, you got a chance to go to the Super Bowl.
Simple as that.
Yeah, stop the run, run the football. There you go.
Well,
offensive coordinators, you paying attention?
Well, you're not alone in thinking that.
I know.
But this is a day and age where seeing the ball goes, well, I'm saying down that Jags headquarters, they believe that too. But there are people across the league now that say, well, the ball's certainly going in the air a lot, and you better be able to do that.
What happened in the Super Bowl?
It was kind of boring.
Yeah, but who won? The Patriots. What'd they do? They ran the ball, and they stopped the run. There you go.
They did.
Enough said.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
You say.
We always get caught up in, the passes and the numbers and the X's and O's. It's pretty simple if you ask me. If you stop the run, you run the football, you're probably going to win. Just saying.
Hey, we got hot takes on the way. Hey, Kuz, you got to help me out something. I can only see some of the what happens to all the old comments on Facebook and Twitter
that are
show
showing
up on the right side?
That are on the stream on the right side? Yeah, I can see all of them.
You can? Can you read a couple? Because we had some on the Foles. I wanted to get them in. But I can't really see them. Once more people comment, it goes away, and I don't know how to get them back.
We're getting a lot of comments, huh?
Yeah, we're getting a good amount of comments. People love
a lot of
talking
people
about the QB
commenting.
situation.
I could try to find them for you. Are there a specific one you're thinking you saw that you wanted me to bring back up?
Well, by the way, I did get Julie said don't get skunked in cribbage.
My mom? That's my mom.
Is that your mom?
It might be my mom listening in.
Yeah, I don't know, but I remember seeing that like an hour ago.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing now. Mom, if you're listening, appreciate it. And I never get skunked. Come on. Brent, do you know what getting skunked means?
I do. That means shut out, right?
No. Not shut out.
Oh, it's not shut out?
It means you lose by 60 points.
Oh, that's all the classification is?
Yeah, it's not
okay.
shut
like
out.
in high-low jack, you beat.
I don't think you ever played cribbage, Brent.
I have.
What do you think about that comment? I don't think you ever
play
played cribbage.
Jack, you get skunked if you don't score.
Well, I think I found a new game for Friday for us. Ku's going to bring a lie detector in here and see if Brent's lying or not.
Oh, boy.
Juice says, thoughts on Leon Jacobs starting going forward? Well, Jacobs is going to start, I think, in that package. It's a strong guy, strong side linebacker.
Yep.
The thing about it is it just depends who you're playing. So, and you saw the Jags rotate that a lot. They would sit Jacobs if they were playing a passing team, and then Ronnie Harrison might slide into that role a little bit. So I think Jacobs is a part of this football team going forward, and he's your strong side guy. But remember, your strong side guy is playing about 30% of the time.
Question for you, Brent. Could you ever imagine Jacobs play middle linebacker?
I say no.
Take the Derrick Henry run out of it, okay? Don't think about the Derrick Henry run. Everything else you know about Jacobs.
I know he's a very smart guy. I think he can handle the position.
He has the size for it.
I still think you got to be able to move in the middle. And I'm not sure.
Brian Urlacher begs to differ.
Yeah, I know. Brian Urlacher, though, is now retired and played a while ago.
I know, but
more and more speed this day and age.
No,
you need it.
Yeah. All right.
So, why, you think so? You know better than me.
I mean, I don't know, but I see him. I see his body type. I see his frame, and I see the way he plays the game. Granted, he's probably never played middle linebacker, so that's obviously a problem making calls and whatnot, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
He may have to go back and check. He might have been, I don't know what he's...
In Wisconsin? Yeah, I'm not sure. Well,
it's been too long since he got drafted, so I don't.
It's been a
but
year.
he's a smart guy because he's intelligent enough to play the position.
True.
I'll even go check his combine stuff or wherever pro day stuff and see from a speed standpoint. But I haven't looked that up. So good question. I probably shouldn't have read it without looking it up. As a Packer fan, you can have him. You got a good one. He's talking about Dom Capers.
Dom Capers, yeah.
Yeah. Packers aren't hot on Dom Capers. And Michael Griffin says, "Oh no, Dom Capers." Listen, I'll say what I said about Capers. It's maybe a nice addition. But the impact of Capers on this whole season...
He's not making the calls. It's going to be okay.
Is not going to be huge. When we come back, some hot takes. Some of your comments, if we find them.
I have them. I'll read some of them for the hot takes.
Okay, good. And I'm going to tell you something that's going to, I think, blow your mind a little bit about a college hoop game coming up. At least it did mine.
Just make sure you actually tell us and don't leave the people hanging again.
I am going to do it this time. Next on ESPN 690.
Hey, it's Jacksonville's Morning News host, Rich Jones. If you're here looking for news, weather, and traffic from News 104.5 WOKV, you need to change your radio preset. We're now only on 104.5 FM. If you're here for all things sports, you are in the right place. This is ESPN 690. Golick and Wingo, Dan Lebitard, Stephen A. Smith, and the home of Action Sports Jacks on the radio. The best news on 104.5 FM. The best sports on 690 AM.
Hi, everyone. This is Allie McNeil from the Best Bet Poker Rooms in Jacksonville and Orange Park. WPT Deep Stacks returns to Jacksonville March 1st. The series features 12 total events with the main event guaranteeing over $300,000. Satellite into the $1,500 main event for as little as $85. Pick up all the bragging rights and cash. Plus, make your claim to fame in this year's WPT Deep Stack Series. Satellites run now through March 9th. For all tournament information, visit them on the web at bestbetjacks.com.
Hi, this is Stan Nagel for Energy Seal Foam Insulation. Summer's coming, guys. Remember last year when you were burning up and your electric bill was off the chain? Why not do something about it this year and call Energy Seal to come out and fix your home for you? This summer, cool off that bonus room and really be able to use it. Spray foam insulation really works. Call us today and save 25% off our summer rates. Call 888-306-3626 or look us up on the web, EnergySealToday.com. Call us now, 888-306-3626. We're Energy Seal, sealing in energy and saving you money.
Hi, it's Nathan from Gordon Chevy in Orange Park, where our no bull pricing and express sales process will have you out the door in a new Chevy fast. No bull means fast, fair, and transparent. It's what you can always expect at Gordon Chevy. And somehow, I fat-fingered the order for 2019 Colorados and ended up with over 100 in stock. So right now, you can get up to $4,000 off. That's the truck everybody's talking about, the Chevy Colorado. Only at the money-saving end of Blanding Boulevard and online at GordonChevy.com. Chevy, find new roads.
There are those who play the blues. Then there's Chicago's electric blues legend, the one and only Buddy Guy.
And it goes down.
Saturday, March 23rd at the Florida Theater.
Well, you know it's 9 below zero.
Tickets are on sale now at the box office and at floridatheater.com. Don't miss Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee Buddy Guy.
Peace of mind. It's one of the most important things we have, and sometimes the most elusive. I'm Glenn Levine from the law offices of Anajar Levine. If you've been involved in an accident, call us at 904-600-4000 for a consultation.
Office in Jacksonville. From the NBA to the NFL, we've got you covered. The worldwide leader in sports. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. This is ESPN 690. Now, back to Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau
on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
All right, a lot to get to in the final 10 minutes. And by the way, you can win players tickets on our new website, ESPN690.com. Go check it out. A pair of passes to the Players Championship, which is now just 3 days away. The Captain's Club of the Players. Go check it out, ESPN690.com. All you got to do is go, register, win. How about that? Life is good and easy. All right, I've got to deliver this. This is for Kathy. I teased it. I'm going to deliver. It's on my notes. I did players' tickets and delivered teases. So I got to make sure I do this. Just for you, Kathy. I hope you're listening again. And she wanted me to give the number out, two more, 362-9901. So I'm fulfilling every wish Kathy had, hopefully. But how about this? North Carolina Duke is huge.
Mm-hmm.
North Carolina Duke is going for Super Bowl kind of prices tomorrow night. Cameron Indoor Stadium doesn't have a lot of seats, so I get it.
I'm sorry, so they're playing at Duke?
Yeah, it's at Duke.
Okay.
You have to spend $2,500, cheapest available ticket. Just shy of the $26.74 you would have paid on January 27th for the cheapest available Super Bowl ticket. That's nuts. One ticket to this week's UNC Duke game sold for $10,600.
Jeez.
How about the Zion Williamson factor? I mean UNC Duke.
That's got to be it,
and
right?
then the Zion Williamson factor. Then you got two top 10 teams, too. So that shocked me, though.
Wow.
I mean, to pay that much to get in, Duke's an unbelievable place. If you haven't been, you should go. It's really cool. We went a couple years ago. But, wow, man, $2,500 to get in. Someone paid $10,000 for obviously a good seat to go check that game out. I can't imagine paying that much for a ticket to go to a game.
If you're paying $10,000, you better be able to shoot some three-pointers during the game or something.
At least get a free hot dog, right?
Let's go.
I mean, amazing. Wow, that surprised me. All right. Hey, we had a question about Leon Jacobs, and our scouting report was bad. So we said we're going to go back to what did it look like coming out of school, as he was a 7th-round pick out of Wisconsin.
Correct.
And from my standpoint, he feels like he's been sold to us. Again, we didn't see a ton of Jacobs. I think he did an okay job. I mean, let's not go crazy. Some games he was inactive, but a nice job. 7th-round pick starting. That's a good story. But from my view, he's this big guy playing the strong side against the run, which is what you want to do. And also, I feel like from an intellectual standpoint, he picked up stuff, and I think he did a good job with that. And one scouting report did say you can mold him into probably whatever position of linebacker that you think, right?
Yeah, listen, I mean, we only had like 5 minutes to kind of do some research here, but from what I gathered from a few different websites was one of his biggest attributes coming out of the combine was the fact that he can play all three positions. Because when he was in Wisconsin, he was an outside linebacker. Well, then obviously they had T.J. Watt. I think Beagle might have been there as well. So he had to kind of take the back seat to them. And then I think they switched him to middle linebacker, and obviously got hurt and whatnot, had some injuries there. But it's it's just something to talk about. I mean, it kind of begs the question because
but there was one scouting report too that said you said he played inside and outside.
Played inside,
but
outside.
he also said that his instincts weren't great.
Well,
that's interesting because I feel like
so this was taken from the NFL Combine website. I think Steve Zerline runs that, former NFL pro scout. And he said one of the biggest weaknesses of Leon Jacobs coming out of college was the fact that he had trouble diagnosing, plays and whatnot like that, which if that was the issue, then middle linebacker's out of the question.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the biggest things you have to do as a middle linebacker. But once again, this is one guy's opinion.
And he ran a 4.48.
Exactly.
So he's got speed.
And he's got strength, too. I mean, if you look at the guy.
That's the thing. I said, I don't know if he has the speed.
Yeah.
And 4.48. Really
4.48's
good.
got the speed. He's got the strength.
But I wonder if he doesn't cover. Then he must have trouble in coverage. I mean, he's a 7th rounder. Do you see the way this guy's built?
No, I know. Dude's a G.I. Joe, man.
I mean, from your scouting report, depending on which one you read, you'd be like, wow, how wasn't this guy picked in like the 4th round?
I think there's the injury concerns was the big thing.
Yeah. And he was a late bloomer, too. He was, I think, because he was actually undersized, and then didn't play a lot of football, and then hit the weights, and then bam. I mean, he looks the part. So, anyway, we had a question about Leon Jacobs, and we had to go digging deep on that one.
Coos, forget going to Orange Theory wherever you go. Just hit up Leon Jacobs, man. Ask him what he did, because
all right.
The results speak for themselves.
I remember talking to him about it at some point. I can't remember the exact timing, but of when, like, he just bam, like he grew and once he got, whether it was his early years at Wisconsin or late in high school, where he really started developing, and then it was like, whoa, totally different than what he was. Hey, real quick, give us a hot take.
You want a hot take, or you want to answer some of the questions?
Yeah, we'll answer a question, too, in our hot takes.
Okay, so Juice Walker posted on here, and I guess it was in reference to what you guys were talking about. With a healthy O-line and 27, what is the ceiling for the Jags?
Healthy O-line and healthy Leonard Fournette, what's the ceiling? And I think that goes back to a little bit of the Foles stuff.
Yeah.
What's the ceiling with Foles with a healthy O-line? And, well, that kind of goes to Josh Wathan's point, too, whether no matter the quarterback, if you had a healthy Fournette and a healthy O-line, that does kind of give you a reminder of 2017.
Exactly.
And they were a top 10 offense in 2017. I think they were a little fortunate at times to be a top 10 offense. And I said this all offseason after that year. There's a difference between being a good offense and a dynamic offense. So, to answer his question, I think they could be a good offense. They're not going to be a dynamic offense until they get playmakers at the wideout position and the tight end position.
Well, what's the cap? Is he saying like Super Bowl playoffs, Coos?
I think he just said, what's the ceiling?
What the ceiling is. Yeah, what's the ceiling?
Yeah, Nick Foles with a healthy offensive line and a healthy Fournette. Could they have a chance?
I mean, that's like saying if you put Nick Foles on the team 2 seasons ago, yeah, I think they have a chat. I mean,
do they go farther than Blake took them?
Yeah, I need 5 minutes farther. That's it.
That's what I mean.
You would have to say that, right? Or else why would you bring Foles here?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess you'd feel pretty good about it, is my point.
Yes, you feel great about it.
And about one thing I've argued all this offseason is if I give you 3 players, an above-average QB, and I'm not talking Pro Bowler, I'm saying an above-average QB, so that's like Foles having a year like Blake maybe did have in 17, and a wide receiver and a tight end, would you feel good about 2019? I think that kind of fits his question a little bit.
I would feel fantastic.
And you got to assume health. You just have to assume health. You got another one?
Another comment on here asking if I believe, and I'm trying to follow the thread here, I believe he's asking if you believe Haskins is going to be another Matt Flynn or Matt Castle.
Well, I mean, he's saying a bust. I know Matt Castle had the one nice year and had a couple of moments, but he's saying a bust. Listen, what we always say, 50-50. I like Haskins. I'm not in love with Haskins like everybody else. I have two big concerns that will have to be proven before I can fall in love and say this guy's going to be the quarterback for 10 or 12 years. And I've said it before. I question his mobility a little bit. And I think that's, in this day and age, you got to be able to move. You have to be, and I'm not saying you have to be able to move like Michael Vick or Kyler Murray, but you got to be able to move a little bit. And he could at times, didn't have to as much at Ohio State, but I'm intrigued by it. I don't know what it is. And the other part is he's only got 12 games, 13 games under his belt. He needs more experience. That's a dangerous deal when you haven't played a lot of football. I think he hasn't.
Did that guy say Matt Flynn?
Yeah.
Wasn't he like a 7th-round pick from LSU? Went to Green Bay, if I'm not mistaken.
He did go to and then he got the big deal going to Seattle, though. He's talking about going to Seattle. And when when Russell Wilson came in, he got a big deal from Seattle to be the guy, and he couldn't hold off Russell Wilson.
See. Okay.
So that's what he's saying.
So that's what I'm talking about with Haskins. Yeah, I mean,
he's basically saying his Haskins going to be a bust.
Yeah, I got that. I mean, anybody can be a bust, but you have to play the factors here. He's the best quarterback in the draft. He's got one good year of film. He's always getting better. He's a winner. You put those attributes up, and he's better than anybody else in the draft this year. So you got to go with him. I don't think he's going to be a bust. I think he's going to be great.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Let's.
Sorry, it's just the whole Matt Flynn thing threw me off because I'm trying to compare him to a 7th round. Yeah.
Let's hope so. If the Jags get him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I do think there's a consensus here. We have no idea what the ceiling is on Haskins. Some people are through the roof on him. Again, I have some reservations, and I think everybody should on a young quarterback. But we all believe he's the best one of the bunch.
Brent, let me ask you this. If Haskins came out last year, where would you put him? With Allen,
Mayfield,
Rosen,
Allen, Darnold, Rosen. That's a good call. I think last year I had Darnold as my number 1 quarterback.
Okay.
I think I might have had Rosen at number 2. I wasn't as high on Mayfield, if I'm being honest.
I honestly wasn't either.
So I would probably put him, if I was ranking last year, if he was in that draft, not in hindsight.
No,
I would
take
probably
the hindsight out of it.
I would say from what I've seen, I'd probably put him maybe third or fourth on that list. I don't know where I would have put Allen on.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. Yeah, so.
But that's not. I mean, those guys have been pretty good.
They've been okay.
Or they look like they could be pretty good.
Yeah, they've been okay. It just, it goes to show you. I mean, when you're talking about this year in the quarterback class, it's just nothing. It's not knocking your socks off.
All right, Jags season ticket renewals are out. Jaguars.com or ActionNewsJax.com for the information. Kai Forbath released by the Jags, and also Dom Capers back in Jacksonville at 68 years old, senior defensive assistant. Make sure to check out our podcast, Action Sports Jax, on ESPN 690. See you on TV, everybody. Have a good night. Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. If you have received a letter from the IRS and cannot pay them, things can get bad quickly. The IRS can seize your bank accounts and garnish your wages. If this is you, contact J. David Tax Law, a local firm right here in Jacksonville, and recently voted the best tax attorney in Jacksonville by Folio Weekly readers and selected as an ultimate tax attorney by the Jacksonville Business Journal. Your first step to stop IRS harassment is a no-cost consultation. They explain exactly your options and how they will resolve your tax issue. Only trust an experienced and award-winning tax firm